Welcome everybody to the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and to the press conference ahead of the Day of Reckoning, which is nigh. It is upon us on Saturday the 23rd of December. A huge historic bill dominated by the heavyweights, but not confined to the heavyweights. Most of the top 10 in that top weight division are with us over this weekend. It's been put together by Queensberry, Seller and Gold Star. It will be broadcast on DAZN pay-per-view, TNT Sports Box Office and ESPN. The press conference, by the way, will be split into two, so there will be an intermission in the middle. And joining me, I'm glad to say, to keep me company throughout the whole thing, is former WBC super middleweight champion Richie Woodall. Richie, good to see you as always. Lots to get stuck into on this card. We'll start with the top of the bill first, though, because that's been the main talking point of the week. The inescapable topic is Anthony Joshua. He's the one who has created maybe the most headlines. You know him really well from GB days. You spent a lot of time with him all the way through his career. Where do you feel that he is in his career these days in terms of his motivation, his confidence?
Well, I think he's at a stage of his career that he can't afford to lose. I think he knows that. One of the problems AJ, I think, will have is that he knows there are real big fights ahead of him. Everyone's talking about Deontay Wilder fight. They're still talking about a Tyson Fury fight. But that should be just cast aside because he's got a job to do here against a really decent opponent. But having seen that I've actually worked with him in GB, I actually seen him spar Otto Wallin back in 2016 when he was preparing for Charles Martin for the world title. So I've seen plenty of sparring there, and there was probably nothing really to trouble AJ in those spars. He's also got 2 wins over him as an amateur, remember. So he'll probably be very confident going into the contest, but he can't be too confident. This guy is a good lad. He really pushed Tyson Fury, as we know. So it's an interesting contest that we're looking forward to.
Okay, we'll just usher in one of the masterminds behind this whole event, Mr. Frank Warren.
All right, thanks.
Head of Queensberry Promotions. Frank, we're a day closer. It's one of those weeks, isn't it? Fight week's always like this. It kind of slips and slides by, and before you know where you are, the Day of Reckoning, as we're calling it, is nearly upon us. And this is not the final time that we'll hear from all of these guys, but the final time really where they'll have the floor to say what they want to say.
That's correct, and we'll be able to hear them whilst I can hear you for a change while the music is not going on. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. I mean, Richie, you know this better than anybody. You know, fighters all act differently on the week of a fight. Some are relaxed, some are happy, some are quite uptight and can be miserable sods. He's a miserable sod. That could be miserable sods. And but the bottom line is, you know, they'll say what they have to say. All of them are focusing on one thing, and that's on Saturday night in the first bell.
Absolutely. Is there any in particular contest you're looking forward to, Frank, out of all of them? Or are you looking forward to the whole bill?
I am looking forward to the whole bill. I'm looking forward to the 2 joint main events because obviously the implications if they come through, hopefully then something can happen between the 2 of them. But they got tough fights, and their 2 opponents, as we were saying last night, both of them fancy their chances. Wallin and Joe Parker are not coming to make up the numbers here. They're coming because they feel that they can upset the so-called odds, and if they do, they're in the big time next year when we're doing more shows here. So, you know, I am looking for them, really looking for those fights. I'm looking forward to Daniel Dubois. I think he's got a tough fight with Gerald Miller.
It's a tough fight, isn't it?
It's a good fight. I think it's one of the pick-em fights on the card. Having said that, you know, Daniel, he cannot afford to slip up on this.
No.
A lot of people have said some quite cruel and nasty things about him after the fight with Usyk, and he gave actually Usyk the toughest fight I think he's had since he's been a heavyweight because of the way it ended, and they doubt in his heart and his commitment to be a champion. We will see, because he's got to prove a lot of people wrong.
He's still young enough though, Frank, isn't he?
He's a kid in as far as the heavyweight's concerned. He's got a long way to go. But he's maturing. He feels more of an ease of himself, and I think he come out of that fight, Usyk, although he lost it, I think he's looked back at it and watched it and thought, I could have won that.
Yeah.
It's one of those scenarios, isn't it? We outlined it yesterday that you've invested a lot in him. You still have a lot of belief in him. You've seen him a lot, Richie, in the amateurs and also practically his whole pro career. But this weekend, this is the time where he has to deliver on that talent and show us that he can kick on to that next level.
Well, I look at this one as well. I look at most of the fights here as 60-40 fights, but Daniel's fight, I think it's a genuine 50-50.
Correct.
I think Miller's a really tough opponent. You know, he's undefeated, he's big, and if you can drag Daniel into a toe-to-toe battle, then it could be a really hard night for Daniel. I think if Daniel keeps it nice and long behind that jab, straight right hand, and keeps a gap between himself and Miller, then I think he'll beat him, but it's a hard fight.
Let's just have a word about another one of your guys, Ellis Zorro, who's taking on Jai Opetaia, which is a big task. We all know that. It's a tough one for Lyndon Arthur against Dimitri Bivol. Similar kind of situation. Opetaia gives off this intensity and energy that I actually really enjoy being around. When he was in the ring yesterday, you could tell that he really comes alive when he's in there. But Ellis has been quite impressive this week, I think, in terms of his composure, his demeanour.
Look, both of those fighters, both the Brits are in a real tough fights against quality opposition, real quality opposition. And they're big underdogs, let's say how it is. But Tyson's last fight, you watch that fight, and going into that fight, I mean, I don't think anybody gave Ngannou a prayer in it.
No,
but he showed that there can be upsets, and even on a, not on a, well, I suppose in a quite high level fight. You look at Nathan Heaney a couple of weeks ago in with Denzel Bentley. He was a massive underdog.
Yes, Heaney.
It can happen. It can happen. It's not. It's I've seen odds upset before. They're tough fights for them, but you've got to take your hats off to them for taking the fights and looking for the opportunity to win a world title.
And I think if you're the favourite for the fight, Andy, the problem you've got is everyone's expecting you to win, and then if you underestimate the opponent, like I think Tyson actually underestimated Francis Ngannou, to be quite honest. I don't think his preparation was quite right. Probably took his eye off the ball, thinking of bigger fights. And then you put in a poor performance, they raise their game, you lower your game, and then all of a sudden it's a close fight. That's what probably Ellis Zorro will be hoping for tonight, Frank, yeah?
Yeah, I think that, he may be them, but at the end of the day, all they can do is fight their fight.
Yes.
They've got their game plan, and they've looked at the opposition. The difference between Tyson's fight and their fights, they've got plenty of footage to see how their opponent fights. And maybe what he's weak. Has he got any weaknesses? What they can exploit. Whereas Tyson had nothing. I think he prepared really well for the fight. He's never complained about it, never made any excuses. The fact was, that first bell, I don't think anybody's give credit to Ngannou for actually being able to box. Because no one thought he could. I certainly didn't think he could box.
No, and he could switch as well. So
he's smart.
He's a lot better than what we all thought.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick word about Hrgovic, because of the other heavyweights, he's another one who's towards that top end. He's in the equation for world titles, or could be soon. He's number one with the IBF. We'll have to wait and see what shakes down next year as to where his opportunity will come. He had a difficult year in 2022. Didn't put in his best performance against Yilei Zhang, but got the win, a win that has aged really well since. I mean, you saw him a lot in the amateurs. What have you made of Hrgovic as a pro?
I like Hrgovic. I've actually seen in the amateurs Joe Joyce beat Hrgovic. He beat him convincingly as well, so that was a good win for Joe. But now they're both professional. And Hrgovic, well, he's number one. I think he's the mandatory, isn't he, for the IBF title? So yeah. And again, he's probably got one of the easier fights tonight on the bill. Let's get it right. I think Mori of Australia. He's only lost a couple in about 45 contests, but he's expected to beat this kid who's only he got beat against David Hay in a world title contest. So he's expected to win Hrgovic, and he's expected to look impressive. So he's just got to be professional and get the job done. But I like Hrgovic, and he should get the winner, hopefully, of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk as a mandatory.
In your opinion, is he capable of stepping up to that top table?
I think you're seeing each fight. I mean, he had a real close fight with Zhang. A real close fight with him. There weren't a lot in it. He got the decision. And Zhang's a good fighter. You see what happened with Zhang on two occasions with Joe Joyce. So you've got to think that he's up there. He's up there with them. So, you've got the two best are fighting on the 17th of February. The two best heavyweights in the world, and that'll determine who is number one. And then all the other guys, they're all there or thereabouts. You've got two fighting on Saturday, who between them were world champions probably for well over 10, 11 years between them, their reigns.
Yeah.
And, they've been beaten. You've got these other kids coming through. So it's going to be quite interesting to see, how it all pans out. And that's why I think this is appropriately named the Day of Reckoning, because we're going to see who reckons to be in the mix next year.
And what's interesting about this too is that it's not a tournament, but it does have that kind of tournament feel, as in the fighters seem to understand that there is an element, certainly, of winner stays on here. I think a good performance in defeat can keep you in the loop, but certainly if you win, then you'll be back.
Look, getting beat isn't the end of the world. It's how you get beat and how you learn from it. If you can learn from it, and you can come back stronger. Lots of good fighters over the years have been beaten up. There's very few fighters that remain undefeated their whole career. And as I say, it's how you deal with it. This is a big opportunity, though, immediately, the immediate opportunity for the winners to come through. If some of the losers are in real or close or strong, tough fights, then obviously they'll be in the mix as well.
And for fighters, Richie, that kind of that roadmap, or at least having an idea of what it might be, is really, really appealing, because generally speaking, that isn't what happens, is it? You don't generally know too far down the track what might be coming.
Well, like I said before, I don't think you can look too far ahead in this game. Not as heavyweights. There's another really good heavyweight on the bill, Arslan Makhmudov. Who's now, I think he's based in Canada, isn't he? He's at Arthur Beterbiev's gym. They're friends from their amateur days. He's 17-0. He's knocked 16 out. And
he's confident. He's very confident.
He's a big fella, but he's got that technique from his amateur days. Very, very good technical fighter on that front foot, and very, very strong, and knocks guys out. So everyone's looking at him as well. So yeah, you can't look too far ahead. There are massive fights ahead of this card, isn't there? But they've got to concentrate here. For Deontay Wilder and AJ especially, massive fights ahead.
Okay, Frank, we'll let you go, because I think we're not too far away maybe from being assembled on the top table.
Thanks a lot, Frank. Looking forward to it.
Thanks very much. I knew you'd like Makhmudov, Rich. I knew it, because he's big and tall, and he stands up straight, and he's got a nice tight guard, and he throws good, crisp, technically textbook kind of punches. Yeah,
he's really, really strong, Makhmudov. Front foot fighter, takes the opponents on, but he just doesn't do it crash, bang, wallop. Works well behind his jab. He's got a great straight right hand, and on the inside then he brings his uppercuts and his hooks downstairs. He's a real handful, and he'll be someone that everyone will be trying to avoid, I think, because technically very good, but he's got that power as well. And he's high risk, low reward really, because he's not really well known, but people are going to know his name.
I'll tell you another guy who's high risk, low reward is Frank Sanchez. He's in that bracket too, and again, he's someone you know plenty about from the amateurs. I saw his fight against F.A. Jagba on the undercard of Fury Wilder 3, as you did, of course, as well, and that was an absolute nightmare for a Jagba that night. He hasn't really managed to get a fight since then, and the reason is because if you're above him in the rankings, you don't want to fight him, because he's high risk, low reward too. So this, for someone like that, for those guys, is a perfect scenario, isn't it? Because he's got the opportunity now.
It's a perfect stage to shine, Andy, at the end of the day. But Sanchez, I think he had something like 220 odd amateur fights, and he won 214, I think. And that's through a Cuban system, which is really, really difficult to get to the top. Someone like Felix Savant that kept him at bay, type of thing, who won 3 Olympic titles. So he's come to that type of system. Amateur tournaments all over the world, boxing the best fighters in the world at amateur level. He's taken those skills into the professional game, and now he's developed an engine where he's got the skills, but he's doing over a longer period. He's doing over 10 rounds. He's breaking opponents down with boxing skills, adding obviously with his power as well. So he's a really class act, Frankie Sanchez, and a man again who will be avoided. But all you've got to do in this game, Andy, is keep winning. If you keep winning and you get a #1 mandatory, at some point the champion has got to face you. So it's so exciting for these fighters who are boxing here on Saturday, because it's a perfect place to shine in front of a massive worldwide audience.
Well, let's just turn our attention to Wilder Parker. I've been very entertained by the demeanour of Wilder this week. He's different now, but back in fight week not that long ago, he'd bring a kind of darkness with him at times. He was quite sinister. He'd talk about getting bodies on his record and all that kind of thing, and no one really liked to hear it, but he's very zen these days.
I think this is a dangerous fight for Wilder. I really, really do. Wilder's been out the ring for 18 months, But Parker's had 3 fights this year. This is his 4th fight this year. If Parker can just avoid the big punches early on in the fight, that's when he's going to be his fastest, most dangerous, Wilder. I think if he can avoid those early shots, he could outbox Wilder. Wilder, for me, is not the best, and I'm not taking nothing away from him because he's a knockout man and he gets the shot on the opponent, and that's all he is with him. But with Joseph Parker, decent power, being a world champion, fought some really good fighters, and only good fighters that have beaten him. But he's got a great engine, and he's got decent power himself. But the problem for Wilder here could be the movement. Parker's good on his feet. Wilder prefers fighters to come at him. We can walk and bring him onto that big right hand. When he's got a moving box in front of him, hitting and moving, Tyson fought him 3 or 4 different styles. But when he was in and out, side to side, he had real problems with Tyson. And I think if Parker, who's been obviously training with Tyson, has been a very good sparring partner for Tyson, he would have learnt a lot from Tyson Fury. And Tyson will be giving him little tips here and there of how to box Wilder. So it's a really interesting fight. Whether he'll be strong enough to carry it through is the big question, because one thing Deontay Wilder can do better than probably any heavyweight in the world is he produces power shots late on in a fight, and that's the difference between him and a lot of other heavyweights. A lot of heavyweights are dangerous early, so is he, but with Wilder he can produce knockout punches late on in a fight, and that's not normal really for heavyweights, in my opinion.
No, that absolutely isn't. So we're not too far away from the press conference getting underway. Just to remind you, it will be split into 2. The first instalment will feature Filip Hrgovic and Mark de Mori, Makhmudov, Kabayel, Sanchez and Farr, Opetaia and Zorro. Here's Thomas Treiber.
Here today as we get ready for Day of Reckoning, a great night of World Championship Boxing to take place this Saturday, December 23rd, live from Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This great event is being brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions for Riyadh Season and National Event Center in association with General Entertainment Authority, Gold Star Promotions, and Sella. Let's begin by first welcoming International Boxing Hall of Fame promoter, Mr. Frank Warren. And now let's welcome Junior Fall. Let's now welcome Frank the Cuban Flash Sanchez. Let's now welcome Mark the Viking de Mori. Let's welcome the manager of Filip Hrgovic, Mr. Keith Connolly. Let's now welcome Filip El Animal Hrgovic. Let's now welcome Ellis Zorro. Let's welcome of Tasman Fighters, Mr. Mick Francis. Let's now welcome Jai Opetaia. Let's now welcome Ajit Kabayel. Let's now welcome Arslanbek, the Lion Makhmudov.
Don't get it twisted. This rap is mine. That's what you hearing.
And now we hand things over to our host today, Mr. Deb Sani.
Thank you very much, Thomas Triber. Brilliant intros as ever, Thomas. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome wherever you are joining us around the world. You are very welcome here today for a truly historic, iconic, monumental Part 1 Fight Week press conference here ahead of a landmark event this Saturday night. Truly one of the best boxing events that has ever been put on in the history of the sport. You have got 16 fighters, 8 fights. Reputations will be on the line on Saturday. World championships will be on the line. In some cases, careers will be on the line. A galaxy of stars will descend on the Kingdom Arena to mark the second boxing event of this year's iconic Riyadh season. Ladies and gentlemen, the day of reckoning is upon us. We see the return of the former hard-hitting, long-reigning WBC World Heavyweight Champion Deontay Wilder taking on the former WBO World Heavyweight Champion, a resurgent Joseph Parker, and of course in co-main event status, the return of the former two-time unified World Heavyweight Champion, truly one of boxing's megastars, Anthony Joshua, against the highly rated, highly ranked, tricky Swedish southpaw, Otto. Wallin. It's truly an unforgettable event on Saturday night. Now, this historic fight card will be presented to fans worldwide by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions for Riyadh season and the National Events Centre in association with the General Entertainment Authority, Gold Star Promotions and Seller. And on behalf of Queensberry, we would like to at this point say what a privilege it is to be working again on such a fabulous fight card as we continue this year's Riyadh season. And we want to express our heartfelt thanks at this moment to His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. And, of course, to His Excellency, the Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turki Al Sheikh. And of course, a big thanks to all of the teams at the GEA, Riyadh season and Seller as we continue to work together to deliver historic events here in the Kingdom. Now, very shortly, we'll be hearing from the WBA light heavyweight champion, Dimitri Bivol, his opponent, of course, Lyndon Arthur. We'll be hearing from the co-main events, and we'll be hearing from another fantastic heavyweight fight. But as we can see from this table here, this press conference is so big, this event is so big, we've had to split it into two. This may be one of the most loaded, amazing events ever put on in the history of boxing. This historic event will be available on DAZN pay-per-view worldwide, TNT Sports Box Office in the UK and Ireland, and ESPN Plus pay-per-view in the US. Well, let's bring in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren at this point. Frank, we are just hours away now, really, from a truly landmark, iconic event here in the Kingdom. Tell us how you're feeling heading into this one.
Well, I'm very, very excited, but before I go into that, I'd again like to thank His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh, for making this event and the Riyadh season possible and showcasing the best of boxing along with the General Entertainment Authority of Saudi Arabia, Spencer Brown's Gold Star Promotions, Seller, and this is the second big event, boxing event that is, in the Riyadh season. As we all know, the first one was opened by the Battle of the Badness, and here we have now the Day of Reckoning. Reckoning for some of the best fighters in the world, competing on probably what is becoming the biggest stage in the world as far as big events are concerned. So we're really, really pleased to be here. We're really pleased to working with everybody to make these events happen. And I would also like to thank our fellow promoters, Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn, 258 Management, AJ Boxing, Shelley Finkel, Top Rank, Salisa Promotions, Wasserman Boxing, and SES Boxing. Thank you for all your cooperation in working with us to make this super event happen. 10 of the top 15 heavyweight fighters in the world are fighting on this card, which is unknown. Nothing like this has happened before. This is a tremendous advert for boxing and certainly for the heavyweight division. We've also got two fabulous fights featuring great fighters, Dimitri Bivol, who's fighting Lyndon Arthur, and we've got Jai Opetaia against Ellis Zorro. So this is a fabulous card, and I'm telling you, Saturday night is going to be something very, very special.
Frank, you've been in the game for over 40 years promoting boxing. Where does this period rank? It feels like we are entering another kind of golden era with Riyadh season.
Well, it does. I mean, I've been involved in boxing now for nearly 47 years, and I know you won't think that to look at me, but 47 years I've been doing this now. And this has just become something else. This is mind-blowing. You know, I thought I'd seen everything, and I haven't. You know, each time we sit down with the powers that be here, we sit down with His Excellency and we discuss fights, and he tells us what he wants. You know, he tells Queensberry and says to Gold Star, look, you guys, this is what we want to do. Can we do this? We discuss the fights, and this is our mission, to go out and make them happen. And we've made this happen. Very short space of time. With all the cooperation I said of everybody, this is something unique, unusual, and I believe it's going to be the future. I believe we will get more of these type of events happening certainly next year. We've got a great fight happening on the 17th of February, again part of the Riyadh season, the unification fight. First time ever 4 belts are going to be on the line between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. That again is a fabulous event. We're ending the year with this. This is something extra. And all these heavyweights on this card, every one of them will want to be part of what's happening in the future. Want to be part of seeing, and all their eyes will be on Tyson Fury and Usyk, and how they can jockey into position to fight the winner down the road. So this is going to be very, very competitive. Competitive fights on a very competitive card. This is something special. I think we are at this moment in time sitting in the world capital of boxing. That's what this has become. The Riyadh season will be putting on all the big fights that matter. That is what is happening, and it's just going from strength to strength. And me at Queensberry, we are delighted to be part of it. And I know Spencer Brown, on behalf of Gold Star, also feels the same way.
Thank you very much, Frank Warren. Well, let's start getting through some of these incredible fights. There are 6 heavyweight fights on Saturday night, and the first one that we're going to talk about is a quite good one. I mean, they're all very, very, very good ones, but we've got unbeaten, highly rated Cuban heavyweight Frank Sanchez taking on the man here sat to my right, Mr. Junior Farr. And this fight is brought to you in association with DeBella Entertainment and Warriors Boxing. Junior, I'm going to come to you. You've been great fun this week. It looks like you've enjoyed it. You seem relaxed. You seem cool. Are you ready for a big fight Saturday night?
Of course. I mean, since we've landed, it's been nothing but a pleasure to be here. You know, But this seems like this is where our sport is going. I'm taking it all in. It's been a pleasure since I've been here. It's been hard work to get here, and I just can't wait for Saturday night, man, because I finally get to fight.
And what do you think of Frank Sanchez? I mean, look, he's an unbeaten Cuban. Not a lot of people like to fight unbeaten Cuban heavyweights who are pretty good, but you're taking him on.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I'm not kidding myself. This guy's a good boxer. He's got good skills. I trust my team. I trust my game plan. I trust myself. I trust that I'm going to get there on the night. I'm going to peak at the right time. I'm going to bring the best version of myself and get him out of there.
Get him out of there?
Well, win by any means necessary.
Oh, I think you sort of half predict a KO there, Mr. Junior Fire. Listen, also on this show you have Jai Opetaia, you have Joseph Parker, 3 Polynesian guys. It must be quite a proud moment for you guys.
Oh yeah, it's such a proud moment, and it's awesome to think of the future generations that are watching guys like us and watching people who the kids back home. They are seeing people that look like them perform on such a big stage. It's such a great honor, and if we can do it, they can definitely do it better than us. So, you know, huge things going to come from our side of the world.
That's amazing. Look, listen, final one, Junior. You've been, not for the first time, you've been in camp with Deontay Wilder. How has that been, and how has that helped you prepare for this fight?
Yeah, with Deontay Wilder, no secret with him, you know. The man hits hard, and you have to be sharp every second that you're in there with him. And that's exactly what I'm planning to do when I'm in there with Frank Sanchez. I need to be sharp every second that I'm in there with him, keep my wits about me, stick to the game plan, and come away with the win.
All right, thank you very much, Junior Farr. Let's bring in his opponent, unbeaten Frank Sanchez, who has a translator with him as well. Frank Sanchez, great to see you. Tell us how you're feeling heading into this. I saw you out for a Battle of the Baddest for Fury and Ngannou. You looked like you enjoyed it, and now you get your chance on this stage. Tell us how you feel.
¿Cómo te sientes estar aquí y de poder pelear en una cartelera como esta? Y tú sabes, ¿cómo te sientes estar esta semana que estás acá?
Nada, me siento muy bien de participar aquí en esta cartelera y agradecido con todas las personas que han hecho aquí, han trabajado para hacer este evento tan grande, y nada, agradecido de estar aquí. Vengo con todo, vengo a ganar, vengo a dar buen show y nada, seguir adelante.
He's really enjoyed his time here. To him, it's an honor to be here and fight in such a major card. He felt nothing but great people here, and you know, he's just excited to be here and get this fight going. You know, he just wants to thank everybody that's involved making this happen.
And Frank, tell us what you think of your opponent here, Junior Farr.
¿Qué es lo que tú crees de tu oponente, Junior Farr?
Junior Farr, he visto buen peleador, he visto varias peleas de él, pues es buen peleador, pero yo vengo bien preparado, vengo a ganar y nada, seguir adelante en mi carrera y dar buen espectáculo, que es lo que se espera.
He's seen tapes of Junior Farr. He's a good fighter, you know. He's a very good fighter, but he's very well prepared, Frank. He's coming here to, you know, to shine and to show the whole world who he is. So, you know, other than that, you know, he's in great shape, ready to go.
And do you plan to knock him out on Saturday?
Sí, principalmente vengo a ganar, y si se viene el knockout, pues en el momento que venga, pues lo voy a aprovechar y lo voy a noquear.
He's coming here, you know, to win, number one. The knockout comes, it comes. He never looks for it. It comes by itself. He doesn't, you know, try to look for a knockout, but if it comes, it comes. He's coming here to win.
Thank you very much, Frank Sanchez. 2 brilliant heavyweights, very much coming to win. And let's continue in the heavyweight division, a fight that has so much on the line. The IBF mandatory challenger, Hrgovic, putting his status on the line against the hard-hitting Australian Mark de Mori. Now this fight, we've got Keith Connolly, who's with us as well, who I'm actually going to come to first. Keith, you've been with Hrgovic for a little while now. It feels like he's taking on all the risk in this fight on Saturday night. Talk to us about it.
Well, anytime you have a fight like this on a big event, there's risk, but with risk comes big reward. I expect Philippe Saturday to put on a tremendous performance, and to stamp his mark as far as being one of the best heavyweights in the division going into his title shot next.
And what is your ideal kind of next couple of fights for Filip Hrgovic? You talk about how he's in that position. How do you see the chips falling? How do you see this playing out?
I think the most likely scenario is after a tremendous victory on Saturday, a big knockout win. The winner of the Usyk-Tyson Fury fight is mandated to fight Filip. I would think they'll probably vacate the title, and then it'll go down to the next person in the ratings that's available. It doesn't really matter who it's going to be. My guy is going to come out on top in a few months and be the next heavyweight champion in the world.
Okay, well, let's bring in the man who's looking to destroy all of those plans. Mark de Mori, you have the task in front of you of Filip Hrgovic. At the launch press conference, you talked about how you're looking to rupture spleens when you get in there. You were pretty graphic with what you said. Tell us what's on your mind heading into this fight, just hours away now.
Hrgovic is obviously a big favourite. He's a big, strong guy, good long punches, good chin. Every man is human, every man has organs. With my kind of power, of course it's simple. I'm not going to win this on points. I'm going to start in fourth gear. The pressure's on him. He's overlooking me. I'd overlook me if I was him too. I'm going to try and break him in half and live by the sword, die by the sword.
Well, I heard that you've been breaking ribs and dropping people with body shots in sparring. It sounds like you are very much ready for this.
Yeah, I've prepared well. Pressure's on him. I have zero pressure. I'm not going to say I enjoy fight week, but I'm prepared. The short camp probably worked in my favour. I didn't have a chance to overtrain or overstress or get sick because I overdid it. The short camp means I'm strong, I'm explosive, and it's a 10-round scheduled fight. I have absolutely no desire to go 10 rounds. I've got arms of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm not going to out-jab him. I'm going to get in close and I'm going to try and break him in half. And that's the only way it's going to happen, and that's the way I'm going to try.
Well, listen, Mark, he's got 13 knockouts from his 16 wins. Can you afford to go toe-to-toe with Filip Hrgovic?
It's the only chance I have. I'm not here to go rounds. I'm not here to do my best. I'm here to try and break him in half. And if I can't and he knocks me out, good luck to him and his career. Croatia's got a very good fighter in Filip Hrgovic. I lived in Croatia 10 years. I know their style. I know how technical they are. I'm very well aware of what I'm up against, but I'm hard to read. I've got a strange style, and in those first few rounds before he finds his timing, that's when I have a chance.
Well, let's bring in Filip Hrgovic. Filip, it sounds like you have an opponent here who is very much going to stick it on you from the opening bell. How does that sound to you?
Let's get down to business. Look, I had planned with this guy to let him box few rounds, but because of these nasty words, I will need to punish him earlier. And he has some Croatian roots, and I had planned to be nice with him, but this changed everything, man. I'll need to punish this guy really, really bad, like he stole something. So that's the plan. I would like to say thanks to everyone involved in this event. Thanks to Saudi Arabia, to the Prince, to His Excellency, to all promoters. I'm glad to be part of this. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And with God's help, I'm going for the win on Saturday and looking forward to a lot of big fights in front of me.
Well, let me just give Mark de Mori the opportunity to respond there. I mean, he's talked about how your words essentially are going to lead to more of a beating on Saturday night. That is the vibe we're getting from Filip Hrgovic. Mark, is there anything you want to look down the table and tell Filip?
I expect him to try and make a big statement. That's what he's here to do. I've been brought in, there's a script. It's completely up to me to try and flip it. He should be trying to knock me out. He should be trying to hurt me. It's not the Soccer World Cup. This is a fight. We're gladiators, and we shake hands and we go for it.
It's personal now.
Savage words from Filip Hrgovic. Filip, look, before I move on, I just want to ask you one thing. You have that IBF mandatory position. If you come through on Saturday night, Who do you think you will fight for a world title?
I think anyone who I'm gonna fight, I will beat. I don't know, there's many different scenarios. I should fight winner of Fury-Usyk fight, but they have a chance to vacate the title, and there's plenty of options. So I don't really know, but whoever's gonna be, I'm gonna win the title next year. With God help, become a first Croatian world champion in the history. And my career is beginning next year.
Well, before we move on, let me just bring in Frank Warren here. Frank, we've just, I think that's whet the appetite a little bit there. Mark de Mori and Filip Hrgovic. Filip's in a position where, look, he could have some big, big nights ahead of him. Give us your thoughts.
Well, like I say, the winner of any of these fights tonight, whoever wins on Saturday, whoever wins these fights, are going to be in the mix for the big title fights. You know, the winner of this fight will be the IBF mandatory, and it'll be interesting to see what happens after the big fight on the 17th of February between Tyson and Usyk. We will then see what develops after that. But one thing's for sure, all the fights, including the fight between Mark and Filip, all of them are meaningful fights. They all mean something. It means for the winner a chance to really go on and be involved in some real big dramatic fights here in the kingdom.
Well, the next fight we're going to discuss, thank you Frank, thank you Filip, thank you Mark. The next fight that we will discuss is a fight that certainly means something. Two unbeaten cruiserweights put it all on the line. The Ring Magazine cruiserweight champion, widely seen as the best in the division, Jai Opetaia. He's unbeaten. He takes on another unbeaten cruiserweight, Ellis Zorro from London. This fight is brought to you in association with Matchroom Boxing and Tasman Fighters. And at this point, I'll bring in Mick Francis from Tasman Fighters. Mick, you've been with our man here, Jai Opetaia, throughout his career. You've guided him to where he is. It feels like he's got some huge nights ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for the government of Saudi Arabia and all the promoters putting this show on. It's something that Jai and Aussie boxing needs. Look, Jai's been looking for this opportunity for the last couple of years, and we appreciate the opportunity to fight on the card.
And do you feel as though this is the first of a few fights for Jai Opetaia here? Is that the plan?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the plan. So, we got this fight, and there's another fight probably in March. So Jai will be on that as well, and hopefully bringing a major fight back here.
Thank you very much, Mick. Let's bring in Frank Warren here. Of course, Ellis Zorro is your man. You've delivered really the ultimate opportunity here. If you are a cruiserweight, he's got a shot at the top dog.
He certainly has. You know, Ellis is undefeated. He's managed by Martin Bowers and trained by him. He's a very dangerous fighter. He's a big puncher, as we see certainly in his last fight as well. The power that he has. He's not coming to make up the numbers, I can assure you. This is a massive opportunity for him, and anybody who takes fights as a foregone conclusion or easy and will be easy are wrong. It doesn't always work out like that. There will be upsets on this card. 8 fights on the card, there will be upsets. There's no doubt about that. And Ellis is all there. The opportunity is there for him to go and try and seize it with both hands. He has a fantastic, you couldn't get any better than that. He has a fantastic opportunity to fight a very, very good operator in Jai, who's, a lot of people think very highly of him, and quite rightly so. But let me tell you, he will come to fight our man, and he will give you a great fight, no doubt about that. I'm not fighting.
Well, let's bring in Ellis Zorro here. Ellis, at the end of your last fight, it was at York Hall. 13 of your 17 fights have been at York Hall, the iconic venue in East End London. But you did say, look, I want to get out of York Hall. Welcome to Riyadh. Welcome to the biggest stage of them all. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I got my wish. when I said that, I was anticipating maybe Copper Box or the O2, and then the phone call came for Saudi. So no, I'm just focused on Saturday at the moment. Obviously, like I've been saying all week, it's a massive opportunity for me. I'm going to take it with both hands.
Everything seems to move quite quickly in your career. It was 3 amateur fights, I believe, and then suddenly you're a pro. Suddenly you're in that boxer tournament. Suddenly you've got a title. Suddenly you're headlining. Now suddenly you, out of nowhere, you're challenging the main guy in the division. But you've always kept calm. That demeanour, that mentality. How key is all of that in your success?
I don't really know. This is just how I've always been, just calm and collected. I think that's just from my life outside the ring and my journey. But yeah, I just keep my cool and focus on the task ahead, and that's it really.
You told me before that Jai Opetaia wasn't really on your radar, actually. You were going like the WBO route. If anything, you were going towards the WBO champion. But he's got to be on your radar now. He has sat just down the table there. What does your radar tell you about Jai Opetaia?
He's a great fighter. You know, like I said, he wasn't on my radar. I was a fan of him, fan of his style when I watched him against Breeders. He's got great footwork, great hand speed. He's game, he can take a shot. He's a great fighter, but he'll definitely be able to test me, and I kind of look forward to that, to be honest.
What's your main advantage on Saturday?
Ooh, I just think my will to win. Obviously, he's going to have the same thing as well, but like that's kind of where my belief is, like my will to win and my self-belief in myself and my skills.
Well, let's bring in the Ring Magazine Cruiserweight champion, Jai Opetaia. Jai, for you, it's been an eventful week. There's been a lot of going on. You've had situations, political, I guess, situations in boxing, as can happen. But you've kept really, really focused. Every time I've seen you talk, you've had that same mentality. Has it been difficult keeping your mind on this fight on Saturday?
Not at all. You know, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be here. I feel like this is a massive thing for boxing in itself. You know, shout out to Your Excellency for being the man we need for these fights to happen. You know, putting the politics aside and the best fight the best. You know, this is a massive change. And the name Opetaia will have its print on it. You know what I mean? And I'm here to make a statement.
Well, tell me this. With Ellis Zorro here, you talk about how you respect him. There's no doubt that you respect him. You've talked about how actually you see him as the guy that you were. He's in your position. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Definitely, I see him, you know, this is his chance. This is his chance to become a world champion. You know, you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And here I am. So I'm expecting the best version of him. I've prepared for the best version of him. Man, I'm ready to go to war.
I think you've only faced off once with Ellis. What sort of energy are you getting from him?
Yeah, he's a pretty calm dude, you know, but who cares what energy he's giving off? I'm worried about my own energy, my own camp, you know, everything I got to do. It doesn't matter what he's giving off.
And you said at the launch press conference that you wanted to remind the world who the Cruiserweight King is. Does that mean it needs to be a devastating knockout to tell the world who you are?
It doesn't have to be a knockout, it's just got to be a great performance, you know, a great display of boxing skills. I believe this is just another step closer to becoming the undisputed Cruiserweight King, and I cannot wait for the next step.
One final one before I let you go, Jai. I've heard you talk about moving up to heavyweight at one day. You've been around a lot of heavyweights today in the build-up to all of this. How do they shape up to you, and do you think you can hang in the heavyweight division?
I know I can hang in the heavyweight division, but right now I've got, you know, my own goals. I've got a lot of boxes to tick as a cruiserweight, and until they're ticked, then we'll worry about that later.
Thank you very much, Jai Opetaia. Can't wait for that fight. 2 unbeaten cruiserweights slug it out on Saturday night. Someone's O has got to go. Well, someone's O's got to go in this final heavyweight fight that we will discuss up here at this top table. The Russian monster, unbeaten Arslanbek Makhmudov, takes on the 2-time European heavyweight champion Agit Kabayel, who is also undefeated. Now, this fight is brought to you in association with Top Rank Incorporated, Eye of the Tiger Promotions, SES and Blanco Sports. And I'm going to start with Agit Kabayel. Agit, it feels like a long time ago that you had that win over Derek Chisora, probably the best win of your career so far. You've been linked to big fights with Tyson Fury, with Anthony Joshua, and now you've got this monster in front of you. Tell us what's going on.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I'm ready. But I know maybe 3 months before I fight with AJ, 2 years before I fight with Tyson Fury, now I fight with Aslanbek. I'm ready for the fight. We train good for the fight. Very, very good training camp for the fight, and I feel good.
Do you see this as the biggest test of your career?
Yes, of course. Maybe this is my biggest challenge in my career. I respect Aslanbek. He's a good opponent. He's a strong guy. And I think for him it's also the big challenge in his career. And we see on Saturday night.
I saw on your Instagram when you left to come to Riyadh, you put up a team photo, and you said all the hard work is finished now, and now it's all about the fun. But how can it be fun fighting that guy?
Yes, everything guy me makes a sport. This training camp. This camp is very hard. I have a very good training partner. I have a very good sparring partner. This was very hard, and I think this is only it's like a joke. This is a fun part.
Listen, a lot of people look at Makhmudov and they see this big, scary guy. And you can see him there, he's got his hood up. I mean, I'm pretty scared looking over. But when you look over at him, what do you see, Ajit?
Yeah, I don't know. We have the same friends. I respect him. We make 80 fights, 80 fight win. No, I'm sportman. I'm not making a big trash talk. I respect him. And Saturday night we come not too much for the talk. We come only for the fights.
All right, thank you, Ajit. Let's bring in Aslanbek Makhmudov. It's another fight in Riyadh. The people here seem to absolutely love you. Are you going to put on a show on Saturday? Are you ready to put on a big show on Saturday back in Riyadh?
Yes, for sure. First of all, assalamu alaikum, Riyadh. And I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. Riyadh season and Turkey, Al Sheikh. Yes, of course I'm ready. Of course I'm ready. That's why I'm here. Great opportunity for me. I need kind of this fight. I need this kind of this opponent. I respect him a lot. But Saturday, sorry guys, I go for destroy like usually I do. It's my job.
And what do you think of Kabayel? Can he give you a good test? What do you think?
Exactly, it's top guy. Never lost. Good record. Good boxing skills. That's ready for kind of this opponent. I need this kind of this opponent, yes.
Well, nobody has been able to beat him yet. What makes you think you can? What makes you different?
We'll see Saturday with a difference. Of course, a difference. I'm here for win. For that, that's my big difference. Yes.
Let me ask you one final thing, Aslanbek. I watched an interview with you the other day. You said if you lock any heavyweight in a room with me, it's only going to be you that walks out of that room. You truly believe you are the best heavyweight on the planet?
No, I said if somebody close me with some any heavyweight in one room, not just boxing, I said, just like I don't think so. Somebody can survive with me.
All right. Yeah. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Thank you so much,
It's a good message, yeah.
Thank you, Aslanbek Makhmudov. Thank you to everyone up here at the top table. We're going to get a big, we're going to get some face-offs. We're going to get a group photo down the front here as well, and we'll be back very shortly for part 2 of today's 2-part amazing, monumental set of press conferences. Thank you.
So that concludes the opening half of today's press conference, and I enjoyed that, Rich, particularly the exchange between Mark de Mori and Filip Hrgovic, because de Mori's been good fun all week. He's been really on form. He's a realist. He knows what he's here for. He knows that Hrgovic is expected to win. He knows that he's got to give it a really good crack in those first few rounds, because that's when he's got his chance.
He's seen it the way we're seeing it, Andy. He's going to have a chance early on. He's got to go for it probably the first 3 or 4 rounds and just throw everything at it. He's at an age now where he knows he's not going to beat this guy on points. Hrgovic is very well schooled. He's an up-and-coming heavyweight that's looking at bigger and better things, really. So and he's got to beat Mark de Mori first. So Mark de Mori's got to go out there. He's got nothing to lose. It's sort of the icing on the cake for his career, so to speak, because of his age and his experience. And for those first 3 or 4 rounds, just throw the kitchen sink at the fella and have a go. And that's what he'll probably do, and he's more or less said that.
And Hrgovic knows that there's plenty at stake here because he's got that IBF ranking. As we just have a look at the face-offs of the photos, that's Sanchez, Frank Sanchez, who's up against Junior Farr. Farr's been another one this week. He knows what kind of an opportunity this is, and they're not just happy to be here, these fighters. It's more than that, because sometimes you see fighters during fight week and they give you that vibe, and it rings alarm bells, doesn't it? Because you feel like they don't really believe in themselves. But I think he does believe in himself. He knows he's got a difficult task. Junior Farr knows he's got to drag this guy and try and make him hold his feet and get him to fight toe-to-toe. That's what he's got to do there. He knows he's not going to try and... He can't try and outbox Frankie Sanchez, because that won't happen. He won't be... Literally, he won't be good enough to do that. But what he will be good enough to do is to try and drag him on the inside, get him to hold his feet, and then it's a 50-50 if he can exchange at short and mid-range and just get him to slow his feet down a little bit, and then it's a much harder fight. Hrgovic is a man of few words generally, but he's actually given us more this week than normal. So I do expect that to be an entertaining watch. I think it'll be entertaining for as long as it lasts, and I'm expecting, like I said, just said there, Mark de Mori probably to have a good go early on in the fight and try and catch Hrgovic. Hrgovic, remember, struggled a little bit, I think, against Zhang, and I think he was fortunate to get the result, the win. But that's at a different level. This is totally different. But Mark de Mori has got a slight chance early on in that one. And I did say before the press conference started that there's a kind of brooding intensity to Jai Opetaia, and you can see it there, just sat at the top table as he was with his hood up. And when he was asked about Zorro, he said quite simply, it doesn't really matter what he does, he just concentrates on himself. Similar situation, Zorro. We just heard there, 13 of his 17 fights have been at York Hall. He wants to box outside York Hall. He's certainly on one of the biggest stages in the world. He's up against the world #1. Everyone recognises Jai Opetaia as the world #1 at cruiserweight. What a chance for Zorro. He's 17-0, nothing to lose. And again, it's a classic case of just have a go, son. Why not? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. His composure's been good. His demeanour's been good. I think he's taking it in his stride as much as you can do when it's a step up like this. Probably the fact that he hasn't had too long to prepare and obsess about it might be a good thing. And then this is the final 2 fighters we heard from there. Yeah. Ozbek Makhmudov. I mean, what he said at the end there was kind of interesting. It was basically, put any man in the world in a room with me with no windows and I'm the one to walk out. Yeah, he's a frightening looking guy, isn't he? But I think he's technically better than what people give him credit for. I think he can box. He's got that. He's from that old Russian background of the amateur style. Very upright, but he's got power. And I think Kabayel, Ajit Kabayel, I think he's got to move his feet, Andy. I don't think he can afford to hold his feet against him, because Makhmudov prefers boxers to hold their feet and have a go with him, and he generally punches through them. So if Kabayel can move, good experience at European level. This is different. This is against a very tough and big opponent, but you never know. Ajit Kabayel is an experienced guy. He's a good mover, but he'll need it in this one. Yeah, I mean, he's quite a small heavyweight, isn't he? I've seen him live a few times myself. As you say, 2-time European champion. It did look towards the end of 2020 like he'd get that fight with Tyson Fury. Yeah. And that was what he vacated that European title for, basically, was to try and kick on and reach that higher level. It never really happened. And he kind of flatlined a bit during COVID, like a lot of people did. So, like Sanchez, like Junior Farr, like a lot of these guys, this is what he's been waiting for. Yeah, it's another chance for him to throw his hat in the ring, isn't it? It's a massive stage. The world spotlight is on this occasion, on this event, so it's a good chance for every boxer here to shine. And for him, yes, if he can beat this guy, then that would be a hell of a win. And again, it really puts him up there with the top heavyweights, because Arslan Makhmudov is someone who everyone's fearing. So if Ajit Kabayel can beat this guy, then he's up there with the top heavyweights. Okay, I think one of the fighters we just heard from is going to spare us a little bit of time. Zorro is just wandering over. Ellis.
How are you, Alice? Okay,
we meet again. We've been chatting pretty much every day this week. You're probably sick of the sight of me, but too polite to say it, of course.
No, never.
How did you enjoy it up on the top table there?
Yeah, good. Kind of first time. The other press conference, it was like an undercard press conference, but yeah, it was good to be up there. I'm just taking in the whole experience, like I said yesterday.
And you do seem to have taken to it this week. You know, it is a big test, this, because a big fight week, you can never really know how someone's going to react to it. You know, I've seen a couple of your fights, spoken to you a bit. If you always come across as confident and that kind of person who will be able to deal with a new situation, but, you know, you've proved it this week.
Yeah, man. I don't really know like how to respond to that. That's just how I am, how I've been. I don't want to keep banging on this drum, but this is why I got into boxing, to change my life, and these fights can change my life. Like you said, we're prize fighters, like you said yesterday. I've never been in a position to turn down fights. It was only like a year and a half ago I was knocking on Martin's door like, give me more fights, I need more fights, you know, so I was never going to turn it down, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm just enjoying it, I'm taking it all in.
Ellis, what I liked about you up there was your last sort of comments where you said your strength is your confidence, and for me, you've got nothing to lose in this fight. You're in against the world number one. You just got to go out there, enjoy it, and show people what you can do with your confidence and with your skills.
And I feel like that's a big thing for me, you know, Rich, because I know it's York Hall, but I've been headlining at York Hall. I've been like the main event. There's a bit more pressure, you know. When you get good knockouts, you're expected to go and perform in the same, you know, similar kind of fashion. And that's been a little bit of pressure. But here, I don't feel no pressure. I'm not the main event. Like, the card's not really about me. This fight is not really about me. Just about really how long I can last in there with him. Do you understand? Yeah. But obviously, like I said, undefeated as an amateur, undefeated as a pro. I'm not familiar with losing. Obviously, I'm not silly. I understand who's in front of me. But like, losing doesn't really come into my mindset, to be honest with you.
You've just got to go out there, enjoy it, and just show us your skills and what
100%.
You can do.
And I believe I will.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
This is the last time you have to do this week, I think. I think the talking for you is finally over now, so you could just relax. You could just relax and make your final preparations for fight night on Saturday night. Zorro there, who goes up against Jai Opetaia. The situation with Opetaia, Rich, and the IBF title is a bit ridiculous, to be perfectly honest, because we spoke to Eddie Hearn about it yesterday, and everybody was happy. Breedis is injured. They were happy to postpone it. Yeah. They were happy for him to take this fight in the meantime. It worked for everyone, apart from the sanctioning body, who decided that they needed to make him vacate, strip him, however you want to describe it. It's crazy, really.
Really disappointing with that decision, to be quite honest, because as you said, Marius Breedis was meant to box here. He's injured, and everyone then is happy with Zorro coming in, giving him this lad a chance. He's 17-0, and why not, you know? But yeah, they've made that decision to obviously to vacate the title, which is wrong for me, because I think Zorro, he's in against the world number one, and it deserves to be for a world title. It would be great, wouldn't it? That would be a real Rocky story. And like I said to him there, he's just got to go out there, Andy, and just enjoy it. And he's a skillful kid, Ellis is. He really is. He's had a good pedigree, a good upbringing in terms of the York Hall. You know, he can draw on that experience. He doesn't feel any pressure out here. He's just said that. And, you know, he may be able to box much better than what people think Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. You have to like the way that he's gone about it, the way that he looks, and of course, you can argue it's easier to look relaxed during the week, and it really matters what happens on Saturday. But I've got confidence in him that he's going to be able to take it in his stride. So, all right, Mr. Steve Bonds joins us now, the lineal champion of the British boxing media. In heavy demand this week.
The defending champion.
The reigning and defending. The reigning and defending.
How are you, Andy? Okay.
Yeah, very well, thanks. Very well, thanks.
Now, I know there's a story behind the outfit. Tell me what it is. Because you can't just appear in an outfit like that and not explain to people what it is you're wearing. So give us the full story. I know it, but tell everybody.
I didn't have the bottle to ask you.
You've got to ask the question. You can't stand next to a man dressed like that and not say anything, Richie. What are you doing? What's the story?
It's not as interesting as you might think. So basically, last time I came here, I brought one of these with me because my wife's Nigerian, so I had a traditional Nigerian wedding, so I had something a bit like this. So I thought I'd bring it with me. I wore it, and people just seem to like it. So I live near Green Street, so I went down to Green Street, got talked into buying 3 for the price of 2. So I've got one for every event this week, and this is the most flair one. It's not really me, if I'm.
It doesn't matter. It's you today, isn't it? It's you tonight.
When in Rome, mate, he looks all right.
Yeah, when in Riyadh.
It's good fun. It's good fun. What did you make of that initial press conference there?
You know what? They've been doing an awful lot this week, all of the fighters. So the idea, the concept that a press conference is for everybody to talk, I mean, I think we're moving. I think we're evolving, and we have evolved in the last 20 or 30 years. 10, 15 years ago, the press conference was it. That was the be-all and end-all. So you had to be there. You listened. You had your pad. You never took your eyes off it. You really wanted to see what he had to say. No women then involved with us in professional boxing in Britain. Now it's slightly different. Now I'm not even sure if we call them press conferences anymore. Because, I mean, Andy, you've had in this booth here on whatever, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today, you've had almost every single one of those fighters here, maybe twice. Certainly once, some twice. You know, I've been here since Tuesday. I've done sit-downs with a couple of them. So I've done sit-downs with several of them, and one or two of them I've done twice. And then I may even do it again after the main press conference. You may even do it again after the main press conference. I'm not saying it's oversaturation because it's great, but the idea that we really are gripped and transfixed by a press conference, that might be a thing in the past. Unless, of course, we can grab Derek Del Boy Chisora and he's got a table and he can do some theatrics. Or Gypsy John Fury can take his shirt off and challenge Mike Tyson. Other than that, we've heard more and we've often heard better stuff. You know, you guys get really good stuff. The DAZN people over there, they get really good stuff. TNT, when they're present at a fight, we get really good stuff because it's sit-downs. It's more considered. So that's a very long answer to a very simple question. So what I think of it at the press conferences, I'm not sure. I think we maybe need to look at just doing straight press conferences going forward.
No, I know exactly what you're saying because Zorro came to chat to me and Rich just now, and that was the 4th time I've spoken to him in 4 days.
Wow. And he's a good guy?
Yeah, very good guy. But, you know, I did joke with him that he's probably sick of me, but he probably is, because what else is there to say?
He wouldn't tell you, brother. He's too nice.
Let me ask you this, though. Do you think that some of what you just mentioned there has contributed to the slightly prickly mood that Anthony Joshua has been in at times? Do you think he's had so many of these big fight weeks, he's just a bit sick of it?
Well, you know, if you think about it, a press conference that did work was the one in London, Wembley, I think, that announced this whole show, the Day of Reckoning, this show, which did press conference was 6 or 7 weeks ago. Now, that one worked for the simple reason we hadn't been bombarded for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So we hadn't heard Jarrell Big Baby Miller insulting Joshua. We hadn't heard it. So the first time we heard it was like in the old days, in the old style press conferences, where it was introduced and then suddenly, you know, fighter X is steaming into fighter Y, and fighter Y, in this case Joshua's biting, because we hadn't heard it, we hadn't seen it. But we're not going to get that today because they've been around each other for 4 days, and all the animosity should be not worn out, stored in a certain place. I mean, I've just had a session with Joshua earlier on, and he was talking about how many fighters he's been around this week, and he likened it, Rich, to an old amateur tournament. So you go to a multi-nations, and you're looking, you're thinking, I know him, that's the Cuban Frank Sanchez. I know him, that's the Swedish kid, Otto Wallin. You know, that type of stuff. I know him, that's the American Deontay Wilder. I know him, that's the geezer from Belize, Gerald Miller. So that type of thing. And that's what he said it's like, Steve. He said it's just like that. He said, and I didn't want to be friends with the amateurs, and I don't want to be friends with the professionals.
The only difference is you know the draw here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You know the draw. So he's not going to wake up tomorrow and find out he's got Junior Farr. Get in!
Yeah, well, one thing I did find interesting at the start of the week, we did the sit-downs on the Monday, and that's a private setting, so they're all a bit more relaxed, and it's Monday, you know, it's a long way till fight night. But what did happen as well was that we spoke to Jarrell Miller, and then Anthony straight off the back of that, and Jarrell Miller, overhearing some conversations between us and the production team, realised that Anthony was in the offing, hung around and created that scene, and there wasn't really anybody able to stop it. You can live without that if you're AJ, can't you, I think?
No, so that could have got out of hand. I think the boxers are on good behaviour here, if you want my honest opinion.
Absolutely.
I think that incident, I didn't see that incident, but I heard about it. I heard there was a bit of a breach and there was a potential for there to be more aggravation. Thankfully, there wasn't, but I think there was definitely the potential for it, Andy. I mean, you don't think because they're not throwing chairs at each other that under any circumstances they're all in love with each other. And, you know, I was reminded just last week in Phoenix on the undercard of Sonny Edwards, there's a guy, good young fighter, Junaid Boston was fighting a guy, I forget the guy's name. Anyway, Corey Gibbs 2 or something like that. It wasn't that, but it's something like that. Anyway, they had a bit of a to and fro on the press conference, and it was all good knockabout, fun stuff. They both end up leaving the stage winking. And afterwards, I was doing some 5 Live, and I was live, and I was talking to Eleanor Oldroyd. And as I was talking to Eleanor Oldroyd, I could sense this thing over here. And it was the American kid. He sort of came up from behind and literally got behind Junaid Boston and tapped him on the shoulder. Then there was a skirmish and slaps were thrown. And it just showed you how it can go like that. Even from what looked like a fun, mundane press conference, it backfired and people were throwing shots at each other, being kicked. So lots of screaming.
So Steve, do you think because of the setting here, do you think that the boxers are being extra sort of civil with each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in
Which is not always a great thing for the promotion of a big event. You want a bit of fireworks.
We
here
want a
and
bit of fireworks, but we're getting enough fireworks in these interviews. We're getting enough fireworks, you know, as Andy said there when AJ's here or Miller was here. You can sense it. Don't, you know, backstage, don't be fooled, don't be tricked into believing they're all back there playing backgammon and poker. No, they're not. Trust me, there's very few friendships back there. You know, so someone like Ellis Zorro, he's back there going, this is great, this is fantastic. There's Deontay Wilder, there's AJ. Ellis Zorro's having a great time. Lyndon Arthur's having a good time. 1 or 2 of the other pros having a good time. But there's 16 pros on this bill. There's 10 geezers back there walking around like this. And then I'm telling you this, there's at least 10. Don't worry about that. They're eyeing each up, yeah.
No, you can see them prowling around each other, can't you? They're kind of, you know, like big cats looking to mark out their territory. I mean, it's backstage. They've got these individual changing rooms for each fighter. It's kind of like a bit like they're in like individual car showrooms almost. I mean, the facilities here are pretty good.
Yeah, sorry, Adam, I couldn't hear that. It's a bit noisy. What was that last bit you said?
Backstage, the facilities for the fighters are good. They've got these kind of individual showrooms, but what's interesting about them is that they're almost like mini caravans with a big glass window at the front, and they could almost all sit on their
verandas out the front,
just stare at each other.
And they do. No, they do. I mean, it's the same veranda caravans that they had when we were here for Fury and Ngannou. Fury and Ngannou changed in the dressing room. That Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua got the 2 big rooms. It's a lovely set of rooms. But the rest of the boxes on that bill, most of the boxes on this bill, are in the caravan-y style things with ramps. And they did do it last time. You saw them all eyeing each other. Because this is a big thing to orchestrate here, especially the workout session. Everyone's calculated. Ralph, the floor manager's got them coming in. 6-minute breaks, 8-minute breaks, 9-minute breaks. The amount of work going on backstage, I mean, it's fantastic back there because there's so many people making it click, and it's a very well oiled, slick machine. But I say, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. When they walk past each other, again, there's security, there's their teams, and they're walking as close as they can to each other without brushing shoulders, Andy. There's a lot of tension, a lot of animosity back there. There's so many of them have got stories about the other. Obviously, everyone knows about Big Baby Miller's story. It's standard. So we know this and we know that. But Wilder's got some edgy stuff. Parker, the nicest guy in the world, he's a former world champion who knocks people out for a living. He's only a nice guy that needs to be a nice guy. There's an awful lot of stories back there, awful lot of animosity, and an awful lot of tension.
Okay, I think we're not too far away from getting underway. We'll see Anthony Joshua, Otto Wallin, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois, Jarrell Miller, Dimitri Bivol and Lyndon Arthur before too long. Thomas Triber, our MC, poised and ready to go any second, and they will be circling around out the back right now. And it's not, you know, it's not your favourite time of the week. It's not your favourite time of the day if you're a fighter, Rich. You did this.
Well, for most of the boxers who are obviously boxing the heavyweight, weight isn't an issue. But some of the undercard who have got to make weight, the fight week, so it's an awful week. It really is, because you're having to still train. You've got to make the weight. You can't eat as much as you want to eat. You can't drink as much as you want to drink. So you become very, very irritable. And these type of occasions, believe it or not, most boxers don't look forward to them because they are a distraction. You've got to keep those invisible blinkers on. You've got a job to do, and you know you want to win on Saturday night. That's the main thing.
Okay, well, Anthony Joshua just backstage there, just throwing a couple of left hooks. These guys just being held out the back. It is quite a setup here. They're putting in a football pitch about 50 yards away to our right-hand side. Then the boxing stadium for Saturday night, 8,000 seats, is right down the far end of what is essentially here a structure similar to an enormous kind of aircraft hangar, and where we're having these press conferences and workouts yesterday and the weigh-in tomorrow is down at the opposite end, so they are being made to wait a little bit here, and you just never know who's doing what in these situations, Steve. It might be someone just staying in their dressing room a little bit too long, trying to mess around with the other one. There might be a genuine reason for it. His Excellency could be arriving. That's always a factor here possibly as well, but you know, the cameras are on him as they always are. The amount of scrutiny on him, and this has been the case for a long time, is huge.
Well, I'll tell you the story, shall I? Anthony Joshua arrived here 90 minutes ago. He's done about 8 or 9, 6 or 7 minute interviews.
Steve, I'm afraid. Here we go. Here's Thomas Treiber.
As we get ready for Day of Reckoning, a great night of World Championship Boxing to be held this Saturday, December 23rd, live from Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This great event is being presented by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions for Riyadh Season and National Events Center in association with the General Entertainment Authority, Gold Star Promotions, and Stella. Let's first welcome Nisse Sauerland of Wasserman Boxing. And now let's welcome Lyndon King Arthur. And now let's welcome Dimitri Bivol's manager, Vaden Kornilov. Let's now welcome Dimitri Bivol. And now let's welcome of Salida Promotions, Mr. Dimitri Salida. Let's welcome Jarrell Big Baby Miller.
Next time if you talk, I got 100 guns, 100 clips. I'm from New York. I got a semi-automatic that spits next time if you talk.
Let's now welcome Triple D Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
If you're talking the hardest, gigs better pop up in your fools as an artist. Chase. Two in the market, everybody wants to know where walking the park is. Walking the party, sporting the harney. Half of the crowds all snooting, shooting the bartender to suit the banana. Chicks looking at me like talk to me.
Let's welcome Otto, all in Wallin. Let's welcome Joseph Parker. Let's welcome the manager of Deontay Wilder, Mr. Shelley Finkel. Let's now welcome Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Let's welcome the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. Let's welcome AJ Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, we put corn in clips. How many times did we take them trips? I was walking around with a free spin. How many times did I take that risk? How many times did they shoot and miss? How many times did they touch civilians, then try rap and claim that? How many lives been taken? How many times did we take for strips? How many bills did I have in the chamber? And that who got hit? How many matches done got?
Let's welcome International Boxing Hall of Fame promoter, Mr. Frank Warren of Queensberry Promotions. We now hand things over to our host, Mr. Dev Sunny.
Thank you very much, Thomas Treiber. Some brilliant introductions, some brilliant ring walk music there as well, some very, very appropriate. Thank you for sticking with us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you were going to go anywhere, to be honest, with what we've got coming up. This is part 2 of today's iconic, historic, landmark press conference ahead of an incredible, maybe the best ever boxing event put on this Saturday night in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The day of reckoning is now just hours and hours away. We've heard from some of the fighters involved, and now we're going to hear from a few more, including our co-main events, including a mouth-watering heavyweight fight, and including a WBA light heavyweight world title fight. Well, this historic fight card is presented to fans worldwide by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions for Riyadh season and the National Events Centre in association with the General Entertainment Authority, Gold Star Promotions and Seller. On behalf of Queensberry, we'd like to again just express what a privilege it is to be working on this historic fight card as we continue this year's Riyadh season. And at this point, we just want to express our heartfelt thanks to His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. And of course, to His Excellency, the Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turki Al Sheikh. A big thanks to all of the teams at the GEA, Riyadh Season and Seller as we continue to work together to deliver unbelievable events here in the Kingdom. Now, this event is available on DAZN pay-per-view worldwide, TNT Sports Box Office in the UK and Ireland, and ESPN Plus pay-per-view in the US. Now, before we begin, before we hear from everyone at this top table, we should take a moment to just talk about our brilliant, fantastic hosts on Saturday night. Now, Riyadh Season has become one of the most widely anticipated global events of the year. For the last 4 years, since 2019, we've seen nearly 40 million visitors from every corner of the globe welcomed to this beautiful city. There's more than 12 zones, each offering unique experiences, live concerts, 5-star dining, high-level sporting events, and really everything in between. There is something for everyone here in Riyadh. Back in October, on a night that will live long in the memory, it was boxing that had the privilege of kicking off Riyadh season with the battle of the baddest. It was Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou, the king of heavyweight boxing against the king of MMA. It was an unforgettable night and one of the most talked about events in the history of sport. For those who have already been fortunate enough to visit Riyadh, you'll know that there is something very special in the Arabian air. And for those who haven't visited yet, well, what are you waiting for? You need to come and get involved. And this event on Saturday night is everything that Riyadh season is all about. It is well and truly big time. Let's begin once again by bringing in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, I touched upon the incredible battle of the baddest, Fury and Ngannou, back in October. And it felt like that opened up an awful lot. And looking up at this top table, you must be pretty pleased with what's going on.
I am. It's this is history making, certainly as far as boxing's concerned. It's certainly the biggest event I've been involved with as regarding the amount of top quality fights on one card. And certainly we've got, as I mentioned earlier, we've got 10 of the top 15 heavyweight fighters in the world on this card, plus 2 other champions defending their titles. And this is definitely something extra special. And I'm going to repeat myself from earlier. I also want to thank His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, for making the event possible in this Riyadh season, and all his staff who've worked very closely with Queensberry, with the General Entertainment Authority of Saudi Arabia, Spencer Brown's Gold Star Promotion, Seller, and all the promoters here, my fellow promoters that I will mention again earlier, Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, 258, AJ Boxing, Shelley Finkel, Top Ranks, Salisa Promotions, Wasserman Boxing, and SES Boxing. I've never said anything like that before. That's what shows what this is all about. Everybody cooperating to deliver. And we have, between all of us, delivered something extra special. This is a boxing feast for the fans. And I'm going to tell you, it will blow your mind on Saturday night. All of these guys are putting it on the line. All of them. They all want to be back here, as I said in the last press conference. They want to be back here in the new year. And for the winners, it's going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. And it's going to set some great fights up for the boxing fans around the world.
And just on these fights, it feels like, Frank, some of these fights could really change the landscape of boxing right now with the results and the way they could potentially go. High level fights, high jeopardy.
Well, it goes without saying. You know, you look at the joint main events, the 2 main events. You got AJ from Britain. You know, he's in a tough fight. He's in with Otto Wallin, who's only got 1 loss on his record, 26 wins. That loss was against Tyson Fury. He's coming off a very, very impressive win over Gassier from his last fight. AJ, I'm sure, will be out to prove that he's still at the top table. I'm sure he's going to be looking to put in a fantastic performance. And Otto's going to be looking to upset the odds in the apple cart. So I think that in itself is going to be a very, very intriguing and important fight. And then you look at Deontay. He's in with a real tough competitor in Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker won his last fight here on the very first show that we did at the Riyadh season and done it in good style. He's a fellow stablemate, trainer, I should say, training mate of Tyson Fury, so I'm sure he'll be asking for some tips from Tyson about what he should be doing. And Deontay, he's been out the ring for 2 years. He's come back with 1 win, which was a hell of a win, a 1-round blowout of Hellenius. Again, neither of these guys can afford to slip up. You know, Deontay, I'm sure, again, will want to be confirming his place at the top table. And Joseph Parker will be doing his best to upset the odds. They're great fights. They're intriguing fights. And who knows what the winners, where they go and what it will lead to.
Thank you very much, Frank. We'll be coming back to you shortly. Well, the first fight that we're going to discuss is a tremendous world title fight between the unbeaten Russian Dmitry Bivol, putting his WBA light heavyweight title on the line against the IBO light heavyweight champion, Britain's Lyndon King Arthur. Now, this fight is brought to you in association with World of Boxing Promotions, Matchroom Boxing and Wasserman Boxing. I'm going to start by bringing in Eddie Hearn. Eddie, great to see you again. It feels like Dmitry Bivol, your guy, a man at the peak of his powers right now, and a real chance to make a statement on Saturday.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. And just to echo what Frank said, really the excitement building into this card. It was 4 years ago we first came to Riyadh, and the change that we've seen here has been incredible. I'm not sure, like Frank said, we've ever seen a card put together like this before, and particularly the speed in which it was delivered. So many great fights, of course the heavyweight fights, but so many great opportunities for other fighters in different weight classes. When you talk about Dimitri Bivol, you talk about a pound-for-pound great fighter. The victory over Canelo Alvarez that we promoted in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena was incredible. It was a masterclass, cemented his position on the pound-for-pound list. And I'm delighted that Lyndon Arthur gets the opportunity. You know, a great lad, British fighter, great team with Pat Barrett and everybody in Manchester, and you know that he's going to come to win on Saturday. But he has a very tough task ahead of him against, I believe, the #1 light heavyweight in the world.
And have you struggled to find willing opponents for what you believe is the #1 light heavyweight in the world?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've offered the fight to a number of British fighters, Joshua Buatsi, Dan Aziz, and finally we found one to step up in Lyndon Arthur. You know, we've got a good team with Nissa and Kala at Wasserman Boxing as well, and you know, great to have them involved and so many promoters. And you know, you've got to chase greatness. Lyndon Arthur has an opportunity to feature on the pound-for-pound list himself if he can dethrone Dimitri Bivol. Tough ask, but he's a quality fighter. This man to my right has been out of the ring for over a year, but ready to show everybody that he's the top dog on Saturday night.
Well, let's bring in Vadim Kornilov from World of Boxing Promotions. And Vadim, Dimitri Bivol, your guy, has, you know, you've been with him every step of the way, and now he is on this stage. He's already done so much, but it feels like this is perhaps a new chapter in the brilliant career of Dimitri Bivol. Tell us about it.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here, and you know, it's a great opportunity for us. It's been an honor working with everybody involved. There's a lot of promoters, Queensberry, Matchroom, Sella, His Excellency, and so far it's been a great ride. We're looking forward to a beginning of a big chapter for us. You know, this fight is a stepping stone for us for a possible undisputed fight to come next year. But right now, obviously, we're focused on Lyndon Arthur, and we appreciate that he took this fight. We appreciate that he took the challenge. As Eddie said, there's been probably 4 or 5 opponents that we were trying to get in the ring with Dimitri, and many of them were not enticed in doing the fight. So we appreciate this. We appreciate this opportunity, and we look forward to a great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Vadim. Well, let's bring in from Team Lyndon Arthur, from Wasserman Boxing, Nisa Sauerland. Nisa, you know, a huge opportunity for your man here, Lyndon Arthur, a huge night. You must be delighted to secure this.
Very much so. I think, like Eddie said and Vadim said, a lot of people have been offered this fight, but my man on the right to me has taken the reins and he's decided to take the fight. Massive opportunity. If he wins on Saturday night, he's #1 in the division. He calls the shots. We're not coming here to make up numbers. We're coming to win, and that is the aim on Saturday. And I think he'll do it. Call me crazy. I think he's going to do it. He's bang up for it, and yeah, looking very much forward to seeing it.
Well, there's been all this talk. A round of applause for Nisa Sauerland. Listen, there has been all this talk, Nisa, about the next fight, as does happen in boxing. People are linking Dimitri Bivol to the winner of Beterbiev against Smith. People are talking about that fight. I mean, how does that sound to you when people are talking about that fight and perhaps overlooking your man Lyndon Arthur?
Yeah, I think it's a very dangerous thing to do. I think Vadim said it correctly. He said he said it was a stepping stone, but he's not a stepping stone. He's someone that can't be overlooked. Lyndon has top pedigree. He beat Yardi, obviously lost the rematch. But when he's up for a fight, Lyndon's up for a fight. And trust me, he's up for it on Saturday night. You know, I'm very, very excited to see the performance.
Okay, thank you very much, Nisa Sauerland. I'm just going to pause to see if anyone else is going to applaud. Yeah, apparently so. There you go, Nisa Sauerland. Let's bring in the man sat next to him, Lyndon King Arthur. Very, very well attired today, Lyndon. I love what you've gone with today. Look, you're really taking this in this week, aren't you?
Yeah, it's, you know, just for the culture and all that. I've been telling everybody yalla, 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 you know, getting used to it. But now I'm enjoying it and I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Well, Lyndon, look, I've been following your story for a long time. From the kid that was sat on the curb, pulled and picked up by Pat Barrett, dragged into the gym, convinced to go and change your life. Well, look around. You have changed your life. How does it feel to be right here on the grandest stage of them all?
It's good, man. I'm taking it all in, and I've changed my life a little bit with boxing and how far I've took it. Nobody probably would have thought I would take it this far if you asked them 10 years ago. But here I am.
It's a huge task. Some people call him the #1 light heavyweight in the world. Are you ready for this task?
Yeah, I won't be here, obviously.
What is it that you can do to upset Dimitri Bivol on Saturday night?
We'll see you on Saturday.
Very short, very concise answers, Lyndon Arthur. Do you feel like the best is still yet to come from you, Lyndon?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't believe nobody's seen the best of me yet, but I feel like if a fight's going to do it, this one will be the one.
Okay, all right, we look forward to that. Let's bring in the WBA light heavyweight champion, Mr. Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri, I saw you out for Fury versus Ngannou. Another round of applause, why not? I saw you out for Fury versus Ngannou in October. You look like you love Riyadh, and now you get the chance to fight here. How does that feel?
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you, Saudi, for making this huge event, to invite me to be part of this event. Thank you to my team, to my promoters, Eddie Hearn, Rybinski, Andrei, World of Boxing, and thank you everyone who support me. What about Saudi? Of course, I like to be here because I know Saudi makes great events, and on the Tyson against Ngannou, I was excited to see how they make this show, how huge is it, and of course I wanted to be one day part of similar huge event, and I'm here now, and Saudi making a very good job for all of boxing society, I think, because fans want to see great fights, and they will see a couple of great fights at one day.
And why is Lyndon Arthur the right fight for you right now? Why is this the right one?
You know, usually my life schedule until the fight, I'm living until the December 24th. Many people ask me about what about undisputed fight. Of course, I'm talking about it, but I'm really focused on Lyndon Arthur. I'm treating to him seriously because he's my opponent. He wanna beat me, but I have to beat him. And he has good jab. He's a fighter. He had a couple of fights this year, and he's a good opponent today for me.
Dimitri, you're still unbeaten, obviously, so many world title defenses, but we haven't seen a knockout for a little while now. Do you think we can get a knockout on Saturday night?
Everything is possible, but you know me, I'm not usually focused on knockout because it distract me from my plan. Of course, if I see the moment, I will use this moment. But I'm not the fighter who think about only one punch. I like to enjoy the process. I like to following my tactics, and I'm enjoying it, to be honest, in the ring.
All right, thank you very much. We're looking forward to this on Saturday night. The WBA and the IBO Light Heavyweight Championships on the line. Dimitri Bivol and Lyndon Arthur. Now, the next fight that we're going to come to is a fight that has got a lot of people talking. These guys could not be more opposite in character, Daniel Dubois and Jarrell Miller, but they are united in one common goal on Saturday, and that's to knock each other out. Cannot wait for this fight. It is brought to you in association with Solita Promotions and Miller Time Promotions. And Frank, I'm gonna bring you in here. Daniel Dubois, just 18, 19 years old when he first joined the Queensberry stable. You've been there every step of the way. Feels like a big one on Saturday night.
It certainly is. He's in a tough fight, there's no doubt about that. And he's just coming off a very tough fight against Usyk. We all have our views on how the outcome of that. I felt that was a legitimate blow, but I'm not going to drive everybody mad about that. But look, Daniel shows that he's got the power. I think he gave Usyk his toughest fight at heavyweight, and he certainly exposed, I think, a weakness there in around his middle. I think he struggles a bit taking sometimes shots to the body. And as I say, Daniel has power. But at the end of the fight, a lot of people questioned the way it ended. They questioned about his commitment. And this is a fight where he's got to get out there and he's got to show what he's all about. And that's the challenge for him. And he's up for the challenge. He's in a really good place at the moment. And he's in with an excellent fighter who's had his problems in the past. He's now got his license back, having paid for the problems that he incurred upon himself. He's licensed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. This is a good fight for him as well. You know, both these guys, I think, are at a level now where they need to put in a performance that's going to be really eye-catching, a performance that's going to move them on to the next level. I've got my views on who I feel will win, and that's why Daniel, we put him into the fight. But I know that Gerald's got his own opinion on that. But one thing's for sure, this fight is on paper a 50-50 fight, and I think it's going to be probably the most competitive fight on the night. I may be wrong, because there are some great fights on the card, but it's going to be a very, very competitive fight.
Thank you very much, Frank. Let's bring in Dimitri Salita here. Dimitri, you've been banging the drum for Jarrell Miller for a little while now. You've talked about how he's got the skills and the personalities to really become a top heavyweight. But this feels like the toughest fight of his career. Do you agree with that, and do you agree with what Frank said?
Thank you so much. First of all, it's a great honor to be here, and I want to thank all the event organizers. This is a fantastic event, and like Mr. Frank Warren said, this is a crossroads fight. And Jarrell has all the ingredients, the skills, the personality to be a real force in the heavyweight division. And Daniel Dubois, on paper, is Jarrell's toughest opponent, but I believe Jarrell is going to be explosive, impressive, and is going to put himself in position for big fights.
So for you, this is a case of Jarrell Miller putting himself in the shop window for maybe some other guys up here?
Definitely. I think that Jarrell, look at how much interest he's generated this week. There's not have been a lot of heavyweights from Brooklyn, New York, like Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, who have the personality and the skills. And I believe with an impressive win, Jarrell puts himself in a picture with the big fights, with Tyson Fury, with Anthony Joshua, with Usyk, with Wilder, etc.
Thank you very much, Dimitri. Now, I've been looking forward to this all week. I'm actually going to come to Daniel Dubois first, because I'm not sure he'd get a word in otherwise. So, Daniel, I'm going to bring you in here. You've talked about how this guy here, Jarrell Miller, is the perfect opponent for you. Now, he is going to weigh 100 pounds more than you. He's going to be calling you names. He's going to be walking you down. Why is he the perfect guy for you to fight?
I only have a few things to say to Jarrell. Yo, big baby. Every baby has a daddy, and I'm gonna beat you like I'm your daddy.
Hey!
What's up?
I don't know what card they
What's up?
to read that on, but I'm happy you did it. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3.
Bring it
Daniel
on.
Dubois just lost his virginity.
Daniel's arrived.
Let's go.
He's here.
Daniel, are you here to knock this guy out on Saturday night?
I'm ready to see him in the ring. I don't do too much talking, but I'm ready for him.
Has he lit a fire in you, calling you all these names, putting up all these posts on social media, coming after you? Has he lit a fire in you?
No, I'm ready to fight. I got a support behind me, and I'm ready to just show up. Show up.
Let's bring in Jarrell Miller. Now, it looks like you've changed Daniel Dubois this week. This is a new guy here. It sounds like he wants to do bad things to you on Saturday. Tell us what you're thinking.
Before I roast him, I want to say, Alhamdulillah, you know, as a newly born Muslim, you know, I'm tired of roasting these guys all week, man. I'm exhausted. I'm just ready to punch them in the face already, you know, and I was like, who am I to roast first? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give all the fighters grace. You know, I'm going to give AJ grace. And, you know, me and Deontay haven't said no words, so I'm going to give him grace. Otto, everybody give him grace. But I feel like picking at some promoters, you know. You know, Eddie's my guy still, you know. And I always say sometimes he can be a jackass or, you know, a little hypocrite. But, you know, he does pay well and he paid on time compared to the other dickhead at this other side of the table. So with that being said, you know, Eddie, you know I'm still a fan of you. But Frank, thank you, so I'm a fan of you as well, too. Even though you picked Dubois, I'm going to cook his ass. Listen, man, Saturday night's going to be a fun night. You know, I'm excited to see the AJ Wallin fight, the Deontay Parker fight. You know, it's not just about myself. I just feel like it's an awesome card to be on, the Bivol fight as well, too. Just tune in Saturday night, man. I'm going to cook this shrimp, the two-time quitter. You know what I'm trying to say?
Spanking, boy.
Two-time quitter. Ain't going to spank shit. Listen.
I'm going to teach you a lesson, boy.
It's so funny. I'm
going to teach you a lesson.
You know, after the Usyk fight, you know, I heard he finally got some vagina. So I'm happy for you. And I applaud you that you know what the gushy feel like. Well, I'm going to make your face mushy come Saturday night. So all you guys, please tune in, and it's going to be amazing. Thank you. Have a good night.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
Tremendous exchange. I'm almost lost for words. Look, Zorro, I can't let you go. I mean, you're trying to give everyone grace up here. Are you sure you haven't got anything else to say to any other rival heavyweights up here?
No, I'll tell you the reason why. I'm locked in now. You know, Monday was here. You know, you seen AJ and I seen Dubois already. Like I said, we all got our respectful tasks on Saturday. I'm locked in on Daniel Dubois right now. You know, the beef and all that stuff can happen again after the fight. But I know I got your back, though. If anybody message you, just let me know. You know, get my Brooklyn beat down for sure. I got you. You cussed out now with me. You feel me? But nah, man, I'm just focused on Saturday night, man. Just tune in, bro. I did enough talking. I done hype the card as much as I can. Just buy the damn pay-per-view and watch an amazing night of boxing in Saudi. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Jarrell. Thank you, Daniel. Brilliant stuff here. Cannot wait for this fight on Saturday night. Let's continue with one of our co-main events on Saturday. The hard-hitting, former long-reigning WBC World Heavyweight Champion Deontay Wilder takes on the former WBO World Heavyweight Champion, a reignited Joseph Parker. Now, this fight to you is brought to you in association with Bomb Squad. I'm first going to bring in Shelley Finkel, representative, of course, of Deontay Wilder for a long time. And Shelley, I know you're a man of few words, but this really is an important night for Deontay Wilder.
I still only have a few words. Fact is, it's a great competitive fight. I like Joseph Parker as a person, but I think Deontay is just going to be too much for him. And you'll see it, and don't blink, as Deontay says, because it happens that fast.
Thank you, Shelley Finkel. Well, I won't ask you too many more. I know you are a man of few words. Thank you for that. Let's bring in Joseph Parker here. A very, very important fight for you in your career. You've talked about how this is the biggest fight of your career. You are now just hours away from taking on one of the biggest punchers in the history of the sport. How are you feeling?
Firstly, it's great to be back in Saudi Arabia. Thank you to His Excellency for the opportunity to fight on this card and this event. Thank you to the people of Saudi Arabia for being so welcoming to our team. Spencer Brown and Gypsy King, Andy Lee, George Lockhart, and David Higgins. Thanks for all the hard work, Team Parker. I'm here and I'm ready. I've had a great camp. We're going into this fight, good game plan, great strategy. And listen, respect to Wilder, but I'm here to do a job and I'm here to win. That's it.
Listen, Joe, you're not going to get away with that. In your corner, you've got Andy Lee. You know, you've been going to Tyson Fury for advice as well. I've seen Tyson do a couple of interviews talking about it. What sort of benefit have you got from this camp where Deontay Wilder's looking in the opposite corner and he is seeing the same camp that actually inflicted his only defeats?
Like I said, we have a great camp and the people involved, but when I go out there, I'm gonna put on a great display.
All right, well, let's bring in Deontay Wilder here. Deontay, really a monumental moment in your career so far. It's your Saudi Arabia debut. I know you've been looking forward to this one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's been an amazing time just being here. This is my second time here, and just the love and the support that I've been getting from all the people here, it's just been amazing. And just to be a part of this card is it's with so many great fighters. This is a one-of-a-kind card, and with so many great fighters on one card, heavyweights, and this is what we like to see. Everyone loves to see heavyweights, and they love to see knockouts, and they got the right man on the card for this job. I'm definitely coming to do what I do best. You know, it's something that's God-given. It's something that I don't have to pressure myself do or others apply pressure on to me. It's something that comes naturally, and I'm coming to do it again this time around as well. So like Shelly told you, like I always say, don't blink, baby. Bam, good night.
Deontay, with this fight, it's a fight that was talked about a few years ago when he had the WBO title. Of course, you had the WBC title. I've seen you talk about it, and I've seen you actually say that you think Joseph Parker ran from you, and you're going to take it out on him for running from you. Tell us a little bit more about that. You really think he didn't want to fight you once upon a time?
Yeah, I truly believe he ran from me. You know, I've heard that he said that he's confident that he's gonna knock me out, but I kind of hard to believe, because how can you have confidence in yourself as a challenger and you didn't have confidence in yourself as a champion? It's kind of backwards to me, but whatever floats his boat. We'll see what happens on Saturday night. I can't wait to look. I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with him, and may the best man win.
Joseph, have you been running from Deontay Wilder?
I don't run from anyone, Dev. As you can see, I fight the best in the world every time.
Well, this is the thing about you, Joseph. I was actually going to raise this. You are the guy that seems to say yes to everyone. I mean, no one really was queuing up to fight Joe Joyce. Do you still consider this guy to be the hardest test of your entire career? And do you feel you can knock him out on Saturday?
Of course. This is a tough test, but I know I can knock him out 100%.
And Tyson Fury has said, all you got to do is keep out of the way of the right hand. Is that it? Is that the plan?
Correct. That's what I'm going to do.
Deontay, there's more to Deontay Wilder than just a right hand, right?
What's that?
There is more to Deontay Wilder than just a right hand, though, right?
We're going to find out Saturday night, you know. I'm good that he's getting advice. I hope he take it all in, because when he wake up, he's going to be like, damn, they lied to me.
Good one.
Joseph, I want to read you a quote which I have seen from Deontay Wilder. Something he said, which I thought, okay, he's gone in a little bit here. He said, "I want to knock him out of the ring. I've never knocked a man out of the ring. I want to knock him out of the ring, and I don't want nobody to hold him up when he falls. I want him to fall straight on the floor and on the ground with his arm folded out, looking up into the sky." These are words that have left the mouth of Deontay Wilder. Now, hearing that sounds like quite a brutal warning. What goes through your mind when you hear that?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Deontay, anything to say to that? I mean, these words did leave your mouth. It sounds like you're coming here with bad intentions.
Well, you know, I come to do what I do best, you know. That's a sight to get the fans what they want to see, you know. At the end of the day, no one wants to see a 12-round fight. It's a whole bunch of heavyweights up here, and we're the hard hitters. And at the end of the day, people have things to do. And they want to come and see a fight, and after that, they want to go party. So when you're watching me, like I said, don't blink. I'm going to give you what you want to see. And nowadays, my name is called Dr. Sleep. And I definitely got the NyQuil in the right hand, so I hope you bring a pillow and a blanket. It get a little chilly at night.
Thank you, Deontay. Just, Joseph, do you intend on bringing a pillow? Are you taking his advice?
Don't ask me silly questions. It's a stupid question. On to the next one.
There will be no pillow on Saturday. Look, Deontay, I just want to come back to you. Obviously, you've got this fight, but we can't ignore all the rumours that are out there in the marketplace. You talk about how, obviously, you always focus on your next fight, but you do like to window shop. Now, when you look through this window over here, I can see Anthony Joshua over here. What do you see when you look through this window?
Honestly, I see a man that's been focusing you know, focus on what the task that lies at hand. You know, that same as I, but you know, I'm not in his head, so I can't speak for himself. You know, a lot of people have asked me about his mannerism, the way he's been, his demeanor about himself, the way he's been reacting to the media. You know, the questions that when it comes about me, you know, I can't speak for him. You know, we on the outside looking in, and we'll see. You know, he has a task a big task to complete, as well as I have one as well. So when it's all over with, we can talk about it. But at this moment in time, it's getting close to the fight, and I think we're both focused on the same task, and that's the win. I'll leave it as that.
Thank you very much, Deontay. Thank you very much, Joseph Parker, as well. Well, let's keep things moving. Let's speak about the brilliant co-main event. The former two-time unified world heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua, returns and takes on a highly rated, highly ranked Swede, of course, the one and only Otto Wallin. It's a fight that we truly can't wait for. This fight is presented by Queensberry Promotions and Matchroom Boxing in association with AJ Boxing. And I'm going to start by bringing in Eddie Hearn. Eddie, at the launch press conference, you talked about the roadmap for Anthony Joshua. The next stop on that roadmap is Otto Wallin. How do you feel about this fight? 6 weeks' notice, tall southpaw. What do you think?
Yeah, thanks, Dev. I mean, firstly, it's 3 great heavyweight fights. I can't wait for Big Baby against definitely my new favourite heavyweight after that war cry in Daniel Dubois. It's a great fight and a real 50-50 fight. And this man to my right, beyond AJ, and Joseph Parker, means business. He's got a tremendous team, great people. Andy Lee, one of the best trainers in the sport. And that's a very tough fight for Deontay Wilder, who is one of the most exciting heavyweights on the planet. For AJ, the run has been incredible. The journey has been incredible, from winning Olympic gold, from winning the World Heavyweight Championship in his 16th fight, the run that he's been on. You know, Dominic Brazil, Eric Molina, Vladimir Klitschko, Carlos Takam unifying against Joseph Parker in a great fight as well. Alexander Povetkin, Andy Ruiz, Kubrat Pulev, Alexander Usyk, Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, and now Otto Wallin. This is his 3rd fight in 2023. It's the first time he's been able to be active without the politics of a belt, and it's a real test. You know, Otto Wallin is a guy that I remember seeing in Sheffield many years ago. Many people feel like he was unlucky not to force a stoppage against Tyson Fury. He's coming off a great win against Murat Gassiev, and I love his confidence. I think he truly believes he will win the fight on Saturday. We've got other plans, but we also know when you talk about a roadmap, the most dangerous thing is to not look straight in front of you. And I see a very motivated Anthony Joshua. You know, I see a guy that has really, in my opinion, been responsible for the growth of the heavyweight division, going back to filling stadiums, coming off the World Championship victory after winning Olympic gold, and a guy that has plenty more left to give to the heavyweight division, wants to become a 3-time world heavyweight champion, but has a real tough task ahead of him on Saturday night. Great link up with Ben Davison. I think you're going to see a stunning performance from Anthony on Saturday.
I've got to just bring you up on this one. There's been a lot of talks, a lot of reports out there about the next fight already being signed, but that's not the case, Eddie.
No, not at all. You know, I mean, look, Anthony wants the biggest fights in boxing. His resume proves that. He has the best resume in the heavyweight division. We've wanted to fight Deontay Wilder for a long time, but the only thing that matters is Saturday night. You know, I worry for Deontay Wilder in the fight, and anything can happen in our fight as well, but nothing agreed. You know, His Excellency has a vision for boxing in Saudi Arabia. He wants to bring the biggest fights. For me, that is the biggest fight in boxing, but nothing agreed and all irrelevant until Saturday night is finished.
Thank you, Eddie. Before we bring in the fighters, let's just bring in Frank Warren here. Again, Frank, this is a tremendous co-main event fight here. Anthony Joshua, Otto Wallin. So much on the line for both guys, really. Give us your thoughts heading into it.
It's a very, you say, it's a very, very interesting fight. AJ, Eddie just said he's had a couple of fights this year, and this will be his 3rd one. This is, I think it's been the toughest one for him. He's got an opponent who's really up for the job. He's only lost 1 fight. That was against Tyson. That was quite a few years ago. And as I mentioned earlier, he's coming off an impressive win against Gassiev. He genuinely, I've spoken to him, he genuinely thinks he can win this Otto. And AJ can't afford to lose it. He wants to stay at the top of on the top table. It's his fights that he's got to win, and he's got to win them in style. It's going to be an exciting fight. There's no doubt about that. I think it will be exciting. And you've got 8 fights on this card, 8 quality fights. There will be an upset somewhere. The odds will obviously prove that. There will definitely be an upset. So who's it going to be? Because these guys, all the opponents, all the fellas who are coming here classed as opponents, they're coming to win. They're not just coming to make up the numbers. They're coming to win these fights. And I think AJ will have his hands full. I think it's going to be a tough fight. And we're going to see what the future brings for him. He knows what he's got to do to win. He knows what's at stake here. He probably knows better than me or anybody. and he can't afford to slip up. And as I've just said, Otto is a massive chance, massive opportunity for him, the same as it is for Joseph Parker against Deontay. You know, these are good quality fights. There's jeopardy in these fights. There is real jeopardy in them. So we'll see. Saturday night is going to be one hell of a card. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you very much, Frank. Let's bring in Otto Wallin. Otto, you've been very vocal in the build-up to this fight. I think you've surprised people by some of the things that you have said. Now that it's getting closer, now that it's just hours away, are you getting nervous? How are you feeling?
Of course I'm nervous, but I just want to say thank you for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Frank Warren, for making this happen. But yes, of course I'm nervous. It's a big fight, big opportunity, but I'm ready for it. I worked very hard to be here, and now it's just time to enjoy the moment, win the fight, and move on. But, you know, people are talking about upsets, but I'm going to win the fight, and you shouldn't call it an upset. It's not really an upset. It's just natural. This is my time, so I'm ready for it. I'm really happy to be here.
There's been a lot of talk from yourself about the mental side of things. Do you feel like you have the mental edge heading into Saturday?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be myself. People say I talk a lot now, but I mean, I get questions. I just answer them with what I feel, right? And that's just, I'm not trying to make anything up. It's just the truth. So if people like it, fine. If they don't, then that's okay too.
You actually said that if you were Anthony Joshua, you wouldn't have taken this fight. You wouldn't have chosen to fight Otto Wallin. Why is that? Why are you such a problem?
Because I have a lot of secrets. I can't tell them right now.
Can you at least give us a hint? Anything, Otto? Give me something.
No, but okay, if you really want to know, you know, I'm a tricky southpaw. I'm a good fighter. It's kind of a short notice to this fight, and also he's got a new trainer. So I think that's, you know, that can be tricky.
There's a little bit of history there. There's some amateur fights that you've had. There's plenty of rounds sparring as well. And you said that he's a different guy to what you remember. How has Anthony Joshua changed from the man that you used to know?
Well, I only know him outside of the ring, really. I mean, inside the ring too, but not in a fight like this. And my sense now is, I mean, he used to be an happy guy, but I don't know. From what I see, he seems very stiff and tense. But I don't know, maybe he's fed up with all this stuff.
I think you might be right. And Otto, let me just ask you this. I watched an interview the other day with Anthony where he said that there will be blood and bruises on Saturday night. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, look at the Fury fight. You see a lot of blood and a lot of bruises.
Thank you, Otto Wallin. Well, I'm going to defer to Eddie Hearn here, who has a few questions for the former unified world heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. Eddie, over to you.
Thanks, Dev. Thank you, Otto, as well. Looking forward to a great fight. Just to finish on this incredible card, and again, thanks to all the promoters and Frank Warren of Queensberry, yourself, Dev, and His Excellency for the vision. As I said, 4 years ago, this journey started in Saudi Arabia with Anthony Joshua when he rematched Andy Ruiz here in Riyadh. And the development in this city, the development in the country, not just as a destination for world-class sport, has been incredible. And this man to my right has been around a long time. He's seen it. He's done it all. I think when you talk about his demeanour this week, just another fight for him. He's done this many, many times all around the world. And just to close with the main event, the star of the show, AJ, ready to fight on Saturday night. Not too many words, but I know you're looking to do a demolition job on this man come the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks to everyone for turning up today. Much appreciated. Yeah, I'm looking to do a good job. What more can I say? I will do a good job.
The analysis of you comes with a territory. Every line that comes out your mouth, someone said, he looks tense. I mean, I've never actually seen you more relaxed.
I'm here to fight. I'm not here to party and get caught up in the glitz and glam. I want to fight. I want to perform well. Put that pressure on myself. Of course I'm tense because I want to perform. I want to win. I got that urge to win, and I want to hurt my opponent as well.
Everybody talking about the bigger fights. I know the focus is Saturday, but so refreshing to have a man talking
Pure focus on Saturday.
And making sure you're focused. He's making sure you're dialed in for Saturday night.
Yeah. Pure focus on Saturday. That's where my heart, my soul, every cell in my body is fully focused towards Otto Wallin and doing what I know I can do.
And finally, live on DAZN pay-per-view around the world at the weekend. Just a few words for the people of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency, the vision that they've had, an incredible event, and your third fight in Saudi Arabia.
Right, third fight in Saudi Arabia, yeah. Big vision in Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia welcome us all here, even the people down there with open arms. Much appreciated. I know how much they put into putting these shows on. I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. Phenomenal. I sat down with His Excellency Turkey, and he showed me his vision. And the last man standing will be on this table in the future for sure. I'm looking forward to be sitting here in the future as well. And yeah, the vision is big. The vision is big for sure. And I was just wondering as well, I know everyone's come out to see us. If there are, I'm sure we've got a spare 10 minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions to the fighters up on the top table. You're more than welcome to fire away. Derek, how can I help you? I can't, what round am I knocking him out? Only God knows, only God knows.
Hold on, I want Eddie to ask me some questions. I didn't know he was taking the hosting job over.
Let's go, let's go.
I mean, you took the job from other guys. Ask me some questions, Eddie. You know, I want to. Go ahead, man.
I don't know, you went a bit quiet earlier when Dubois stuck it on you.
Hey, listen.
Never seen you lost for words,
listen,
mate.
I guess somebody taught him his nursery rhymes last night because that boy came out firing his
I like you, you're my friend, but I'm doing the ring walk with Daniel on Saturday.
Oh, you are?
The Brits are coming.
I hear you. Fish and chips gonna get extra fried. Don't worry about it.
You say that every fight. It's getting boring now. Go on, Dubois.
Listen, we're gonna shave that toupee off his head too. Don't worry, Eddie. Me, Eddie should have an exhibition one of these days.
That's all right. We'll see what your engine's like these days. Listen. On a serious note, thank you very much to everybody.
Wrapping up.
Well, I'm happy for more questions. Dev, do you want to take some questions?
Let's get one question from the man with his hand up and the microphone.
Oh, we've got a mic now.
Go on, give us your question.
I was asking to AJ, obviously, with all the heavyweights here, talks about Wilder, interactions with Miller, you say that you're focused. But is it hard to stay focused, or do you find it easy with how long you've been in the game for?
Well, for me personally, it's not hard to stay focused at all. I'm fully locked in. I made a commitment in my life to stay locked in. And my main focus is on Otto Wallin now, and I'm going to perform, I'm going to do my job. I can definitely window shop. I know where I'm going in my life, but I've also got to say, this is the checkpoint, and if I don't get past this, there is no future. So I'm fully locked into Otto Wallin and doing the job.
Thank you very much, Anthony. I've been told to wrap up this press conference. I'm sorry, some press will get their attention with Anthony, of course. Thank you to everyone at this top table. Frank, just a final word from yourself. Just a couple of words. Why should people buy this on Saturday night?
Because it's historical. It's going to be a fantastic boxing festival. This is going to be something extra special, and you're going to see the best fighting the best. And next year, the winners come through, they're going to be even in bigger fights. So tune in, watch it. Brilliant nights of boxing.
Let's get some face-offs. Thank you so much. Stick around.
Okay, so that concludes the press conference. That was quite interesting at the end there, Rich, because he kept himself cocooned there, Anton, as he has done throughout this whole proceeding since the original press conference, preferring to take questions through Eddie Hearn, just kind of keeping that siege mentality going almost.
Yeah, I think with AJ, he's seen it all before, he's very experienced now, and I think he's learned over the years not to get too embroiled in all the emotions, really. I think he's just trying to take a back seat. People are saying to him that there are bigger fights out there, Deontay Wilder, and of course the biggest one out there is probably going to be Tyson Fury. You know, if Tyson beats Usyk, then that's the fight that he'll focus on one day. But I think he's learned from experience that he can't look too far ahead. Many times, especially in the heavyweight division, the underdog can come through and cause an upset. He knows he's got to concentrate, but I do feel deep down, because he's sparred Otto Wallin several times in camp, when he's preparing for Charles Martin. He's boxed him twice as an amateur. I think he's got his number, and I think deep down he'll know that, but he's got to stay focused. It's a difficult fight, but it's a winnable fight. I think he'll beat Wallin. I think he'll actually knock him out late on, but you know, that's my own personal opinion. I think deep down he knows he's going to win the fight, but he's staying focused, and I admire him for that.
So just looking at these face-offs, this is Dimitri Bivol against Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur didn't say too much today. Bivol, the WBA champion at light heavyweight, Arthur with the IBO belt. It's a tall order, this Lyndon Arthur. He knows it, we all know it. Bivol is one of the best fighters out there after that performance against Canelo particularly, but you just prepare as best you can, and when that bell goes, you do the best you can, and whatever happens, happens.
Another situation for Lyndon Arthur where everyone's expecting him to lose. and he's just got to go in there and try and make it as awkward as possible for as long as possible. We know he can box very well behind his jab, nice long jab, stay on the outside, try and make Bivol overcommit and try and frustrate Bivol, and then you never know, he may have a slight chance, mightn't he? But yes, he's up against it. But that's the fight I'm looking forward to there. Daniel Dubois, Gerald Miller. I think there's going to be fireworks, and I think it's a genuine 50-50. I don't know who's going to win this one. I would like to see Dubois box him at range, keep him on the end of that jab and straight right hand, but we know Gerald Miller is very good at getting on the inside, closing his opponents down. He's got the weight behind him, and I think it's a difficult night, but again, winnable for Daniel Dubois, but it's a tough fight indeed.
He was telling our colleagues at DAZN, Gerald Miller, yesterday that morning he weighed in at 328, which I think by my reckoning is 23 stone 6. So he's got even heavier since he came back. He did have that incredible engine, as Eddie Hearn pointed out, before the absence due to the failed drugs test. If he's still got that, then he is a massive handful.
I was watching the contest against Lucas Brown only a couple of days ago, and and Lucas Brown from Australia, tough kid, but he literally walked him down and he really put it on him, and in the end I think he stopped him in about round 6 against Lucas Brown. Yes, when he gets to you, he's really dangerous, and so that's why Daniel, for me, has got to box at range.
Well, here we go. Stare down between Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker. This is an interesting matchup. Parker and Andy Lee, full of the right kind of confidence this week. They believe in themselves. Again, they know that this is a tough ask. They're aware of that, but they also know that there's no point thinking you can just try and hang in there for 12 rounds against Deontay Wilder. You have to look for an opening, and when you get it, you've got to take it.
Of course you have, and I think movement will be the key for Parker there. I think Parker will be hoping that Deontay Wilder will be going in very overconfident, that he'll think he's going to knock Parker out. That may just give Parker a bit of time and a bit of space to hit and to move and to make it awkward again. And again, a frustrating part for hopefully Wilder, where he's going to overcommit. But you never know with Parker.
And so here we have Joshua and Wallin. It's been interesting this week, the analysis of Joshua. The more I've seen him, the more I've seen of the way he's gone about things, actually the more I've kind of liked it, because he has been around this kind of scene for a really long time. Wallin hasn't. This is his first really big card outside of the Fury one, but this is bigger than that in general, you would say, and he's had a lot to say. Joshua has just listened, soaked it up, hasn't really responded too much, and I do feel like he is really locked in and where he needs to be.
Yes, he's locked in. Otto Wallin, though, is a talented boxer. I was watching him against Gassiev actually this morning. His last contest against Marit Gassiev, he boxed on the back foot. He beat Gassiev on a split decision over in Turkey. Good win. But against Tyson Fury, he showed that he could box on the front foot. He put Tyson under a bit of pressure and he had some success. So he's a good all-rounder. He doesn't do anything devastating, but he does the basics very well, works well behind his jab. Southpaw, so can make things awkward. But like I say, because AJ's beat him as an amateur, sparred him a lot, I think he feels that he's got his number, and I see him beating him. Maybe towards the end of the contest, I see AJ connecting with a good right hand.
Okay, so all the fighters just leaving the stage, they're making their way to backstage. They'll be back to their hotels soon enough, and then it's just the weigh-in tomorrow. And most of the people on this card, as you pointed out earlier, Rich, don't have to make a weight, and that does make a difference. It'll be interesting to see what kind of weight most of them hit. I don't think we were expecting too many surprises when it comes to the 4 guys at the top of the card. You see the shape they're in this week, and I think we can guess pretty much where they'll come in. But as a fighter yourself, what are these next couple of days like? You're retreating further and further towards that place, that mental space you need to take yourself to fight.
Well, to be honest, if you've got to make the weight, tonight's the horrible night. The day before the weigh-in, you've got to try and make the weight. You know, you're going to dry out, you're not going to be drinking much, you're not going to be eating much. They're going to be irritable, they want to get to bed early and just, you want the day to come where you're going to weigh in, you want it tomorrow, you want it to come right now. For the boxers, though, that haven't got to make the weight, they'll still have a weight where they'll want to make, because they know they're going to be at their best. It's no good coming in 6 or 7 pounds over your normal fighting weight, even if you're a heavyweight, because it's 6 or 7 pounds that you're carrying around that you're not used to. They'll still have their own weight that they'll want to come in at, and that'll be important, because you have to stay disciplined, even at heavyweight, in making a weight that you're best at when you fight. and that will be very important for the boxers to make their own weight, even at heavyweight.
So not too long to go for them now. It's been a long week. It feels like it's been a long week, although it's actually gone quite quickly, if that makes any sense at all. But most of their media obligations are behind them now, and I think that will be a relief for them, to be honest, because it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, basically every day they've had to answer the same questions. But that part of it, that responsibility, that weight, if you like, of the promotion is off their shoulders, and I think now they can actually finally just free themselves up of all of that and focus completely on the job in hand.
Yes, I think, you know, it was all quite civil, to be quite honest, apart from Gerald Miller and Daniel Dubois, but apart from that, it was quite civil, and they know what they've got to do, and I think they all realise that they're in tough fights. You know, I see a few 60-40s there, but I think 60-40 fights, but I see the Miller fight against Daniel Dubois as a genuine 50-50. That's a hard one to put your finger on who's going to win that one. But now they've let a little bit of steam off. Yes, they can relax a little bit, focus on the weigh-in, and now they're starting to get their mind into gear of how they're going to box on Saturday. It'll be running through their minds, even just looking at their opponents, trying to get anything they can get on the opponent, what they actually look like, you know, how they're feeling. They'll get little snippets here and there, just looking at the opponents, hearing them speak, hearing the promoters, getting the general feel of the contest. Now it'll start to click now.
Okay, well, as we say, we've got the weigh-in tomorrow, and then fight night will be upon us before we know it. It's 8 fights on the card, 6 of them at heavyweight, 1 at cruiserweight, 1 at light heavyweight, and it promises to be quite some night. We know what people think is going to happen in March, that fight between Joshua and Wilder, but they've got tricky assignments to get past if they're going to make that come to fruition. Joshua up against Otto, and Deontay Wilder up against Joseph Parker, and then that kind of sleeper in the card, if indeed there is one, in the shape of Daniel Dubois tackling Jarrell Miller. And Dubois did a good job on Jarrell Miller today at the press conference. He kept him quiet, which is no mean feat at all. Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Join us again for the weigh-in tomorrow.